Section 21. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The others all nodded, and Sun Xuanhuan nodded with satisfaction. Since everyone agrees, let's get started. As for the rules, we can exchange goods or buy with spirit stones. It depends on the seller's willingness. That's all. He said with a bow. I'll throw out some ideas. He casually took out 4 things: a second-level low-grade spirit talisman, golden sword talisman, a jade box, a long sword, and a large black stone. Second-level low-grade golden sword talisman, first-level high-grade magic weapon Qingfeng sword, the black one is the high-grade refining material black iron stone, and the jade box contains 80-year-old soul-nourishing grass. I only want to trade second-level talisman-making materials. Talisman pens, blood ink, and talisman paper are all okay. Soul-nourishing grass. Wang Hao stared at the blue grass. Hearing Sun Xuanhuan's introduction, this thing has a nourishing effect on the soul. Smelling its scent for a long time can increase spiritual consciousness. Unfortunately, he didn't have second-level talisman-making materials. The animal skins he hunted with his uncle last time were all sold. Just when he was about to ask if he could exchange it with spirit stones or elixirs, Sun Xuanhuan spoke again. Everyone, I'm sorry, I traded this soul-nourishing grass to junior sister Chen. You don't need to communicate anymore. Let's take a look at other materials. After that, Chen Qing took the jade box with the soul-nourishing grass with a happy face, and traded it for a jade bottle, which exuded a strong smell of blood, as if it was the blood of some second-level monster. When it came to Chen Qing's hands, Wang Hao was relieved. With the kindness of the 3-leaf spirit-condensing grass, she would not refuse to borrow the soul-nourishing grass for a look, right? Then a casual cultivator exchanged the talisman with animal skin, the flying sword was exchanged by an outer disciple of Qingyuan's sect, and the black iron stone was taken back by Sun Xuanhuan because no one wanted it. Song Yun stepped forward and said, I am also a talisman maker, but I am not as good as senior brother Sunday. I only have top-grade talismans such as the Fire Rain Talisman, the Water Dragon Talisman, and the Giant Strength Talisman. You can exchange them with items of equivalent value or purchase them with spirit stones. Wang Hao stepped forward and spent 200 spirit stones to buy 10 talismans. He wanted to buy more, but he was afraid that he would be targeted if he showed off his wealth. Other cultivators also took turns to step forward, either to buy or to exchange. In a short time, more than 50 spirit talismans in Song Yun's hand were exchanged out. Then others followed suit and took out items to exchange. Wang Hao exchanged 2 bottles of Huanya Dan for a first-grade medium-grade talisman pen. Since he planned to improve his talisman making, he had to prepare everything. 2 teeth of a first-grade top-grade demon wolf, 1 shell of a first-grade top-grade black water turtle, both are good materials for refining, and 10 eggs of the fantasy moon butterfly, which ranks 78th on the list of heaven and earth spirit insects. When it grows to the second stage, it can emit magical powers that make people fall into illusions. Only in exchange for elixirs that can improve cultivation, preferably Huanglong Dan. Another disciple of Qingyuan's sect came forward and took out a bunch of things. Hearing about the fantasy moon butterfly, Wang Hao became interested. He had already raised 2 spirit beasts and spent thousands of spirit stones, but it didn't help much. But he knew that as long as Yaya and Xiaobai were promoted to the second stage, it would be his time to reap the rewards. So he also wanted to exchange for 2 eggs. Fantasy moon butterfly, are you sure? How can such a thing appear so easily? Sun Xuanhuan asked curiously. The man hurriedly explained, Brother Sun, how dare I lie to you, but these things are what I got when I explored a cave. Because they have been stored for too long, they have lost their spirituality and it is a bit difficult to hatch them. Can I take a look? Of course. He opened a jade box. Brother Sun, please. Why is it this color? Sun Xuanhuan held a colorful egg the size of an egg and said in surprise, shouldn't the eggs of the fantasy moon butterfly be white? How can there be colorful stripes? This, I don't know, it was like this when I got it, and I learned from the introduction left in the cave that it was the eggs of the fantasy moon butterfly. Alas, it's a pity that the activity is less than 20% left, and these eggs are difficult to hatch. Sun Xuanhuan looked at it for a long time with a look of regret, but if it can be hatched, you are reluctant to take it out. After hatching, you can sell it at a price 10 times higher. That the man scratched his head awkwardly and didn't refute. In the end, he took out the things in exchange for 5 fantasy moon butterfly eggs. Wang Hao did not dare to delay, fearing that someone else would grab it first, so he walked forward and took out a bottle of Huanglong Dan. Dao Yu, how about exchanging this bottle of pills for the remaining 5 eggs? This. The man hesitated for a moment. If Dao Yu adds another half bottle, I will exchange it. Okay, Wang Hao agreed, took out another half bottle of Huanglong Dan, and put the eggs in his pocket. The man also gave him a jade slip, saying that it was about the information and breeding methods of the fantasy moon butterfly, which he got from the cave. Wang Hao returned to his original place and sat down, checking it out. The information said that the fantasy moon butterfly eggs can usually be hatched as long as they are placed in a place with rich spiritual energy, but now only 20% of the activity is left. I'm afraid that rich spiritual energy alone is not enough. The magical power is really strong. After the second level, the body will have its own fluorescence. The Qi training monks will fall into the illusion at a glance, and the hallucinogenic divine light emitted will also hit the high-level monks if they don't dodge. After another half an hour, no one came forward to exchange. At this time, Chu He suddenly said, "Brother Wang, you haven't taken out the things to exchange yet." Wang Hao stood up and bowed to everyone with an apologetic look. "Sorry, I just became a first-level upper-grade alchemist not long ago. I don't have many pills on me. I have already exchanged them for the things of fellow Taoists. I can't take out more. In that case, let's stop here today." Sun Jixuan said and announced that everyone could leave. Chapter 39 Drawing Talisman. Wang Hao left with Chu He and Chen Qing. When they were about to part, Wang Hao remembered the matter of the soul-nourishing grass, quickly stopped Chen Qing. "Wait, Fairy Chen, I have an unreasonable request, I hope the fairy will satisfy it." "Brother Wang, if you have any questions, just ask me, I will naturally help you if I can." Wang Hao cupped his hands and begged, "I come from a small family. Although I am an alchemist, I have never been exposed to many elixirs. So can you please let me see the soul-nurturing flower?" "I wonder why Brother Wang is so solemn." Chen Qing laughed, took out the jade box and handed it to Wang Hao. "Brother Wang, you can take a look if you want." Wang Hao thanked him repeatedly and then opened the jade box. As soon as he smelled the breath of the soul-nourishing flower, his mind went blank and his thinking became much faster. As expected, it had the effect of nourishing the soul. He took a deep breath and opened the box again. Closed it, but while closing it, he took the opportunity to gently touch the soul-raising flower with his finger and got the seeds. "Brother Wang, won't you take a closer look?" "I'm satisfied, so I'll take my leave." Looking at Wang Hao's retreating figure, Chu He couldn't help but say, "Brother Wang is very obsessed with elixirs, but there is no greed in his eyes, which shows that he is an upright person." Chen Qing also said, "Brother Wang is an alchemist. It is inevitable to be curious when seeing rare elixirs, but it is limited to curiosity. Anyone who can guard his heart like this will definitely be a figure in the future. It's a pity that he is just a monk from a small family and has limited knowledge. If not, his achievements would definitely be higher." Chen Qing nodded. "Well, junior sister also wants to try the effect of soul-nourishing flowers. I will chat with senior brother next time and say goodbye." Back at the shop, Wang Hao took out the eggs of the moon butterfly and observed them carefully. He had never come into contact with this thing before. It was not very lively and the color of the eggs was different from normal eggs. But since Sun Jixuan was willing to buy it, it must have value. Wang Hao guessed that the color of the insect eggs did not change due to the passage of time, but that it was like this from the beginning. Then the reason was nothing but mutation. Mutating a spirit insect does not mean that it will mutate in a good direction. Just like the breeding of later generations, there are good ones and naturally there are bad ones. The work done is nothing more than selecting the good ones. These 5 eggs are all colored and have almost the same stripes, indicating that the mother body is likely to have mutated, which saves Wang Hao's later screening. How to replenish insect eggs. Wang Hao knew a little bit about this. Placing a place with rich spiritual energy was only one of them. There was also using spiritual water to nourish or prepare spiritual liquid. In short, it was to use things containing spiritual energy to replenish its vitality. Wang Hao does not have a formula related to spiritual liquid, but he has a spiritual nourishing pill, which is very useful for spiritual beasts and spiritual insects. Wang Hao only needs to use the spiritual liquid formula to condense the spiritual liquid, and then soak the insect eggs, and there should be effect. Even if it fails, the loss will only be a bottle and a half of Huanglong pill, so he started to refine the essence of the elixir. It didn't take long. In a moment, Wang Hao refined the elixir and soaked the insect eggs in it. In order to avoid annihilating the whole army, he took out one and placed it on the spirit stone. Put them on the pile and compare the two, and you will be able to observe the difference in a few days. Putting the insect eggs aside, Wang Hao ignored them and took out the exchanged talisman pens to draw talisman. The experience of those at the party inspired Wang Hao a lot, so he planned to strike while the iron was hot and improve his talisman-making skills. Wang Hao began to calm down. There were many rituals before drawing the talisman. Wang Hao thought it was useless at first. Praying for blessings like a dancing god was like a blue star drawing for good luck. What else could he do besides psychological comfort? But those talisman makers said that these rituals were indispensable, and that there was destiny in the dark, and that it was mysterious and mysterious. Wang Hao also believed it. Since everyone else was like this, why should he be new and different? Wang Hao had long understood the basic principles of making talismans, and after completing these complicated rituals meticulously, he was ready to draw talisman. Needless to say, it was really useful. He felt at peace in his heart at the moment, without any disturbance, and all the negative emotions caused by fear of failure at first disappeared. Then come directly. Wang Hao took a deep breath, spread out the talisman paper, opened a bottle of spiritual ink, and dipped the talisman pen into it, carefully controlling the spiritual power to pass through the tip of the pen. It is evenly and smoothly transferred to the talisman paper. What he is currently drawing is a small fireball talisman, which is almost the simplest first-order middle-grade talisman seal, consisting of only 6 runes. He has practiced the relevant runes thousands of times and can draw them with his eyes closed. Along with muscle memory, runes appeared on the rune paper one by one, and the rune paper also fluctuated slightly due to the spiritual power it contained. Seeing that the last rune was about to be drawn, Wang Hao felt happy. Because of this slight change in his mood, the rune paper suddenly started to tremble. "It's broken," Wang Hao said secretly. Before he could regret it, he hurriedly threw the talisman away. Poof! A ball of flame rose up, and the talisman turned into ashes in a moment. It seems that the most taboo thing about drawing talisman is mental fluctuations. Those rituals are for the talisman maker to use calmly, Wang Hao murmured to himself, as if he had discovered the trick. So he redid the ceremony and tried the small fireball talisman again. This time Wang Hao strictly kept his heart and drew the last rune onto the talisman paper smoothly. "Oh, this is a success. It turns out that I took a detour before." Wang Hao lamented that cultivating immortality cannot be explained simply by science. Those rituals that he thought were useless were actually the key to the success of making talismans. In fact, no, there are many key points in making talismans. His success the second time was not only due to the ritual, but also his accumulation of thousands of times in the past. If he were to draw an unfamiliar first-level mid-level spiritual talisman at this moment, it will definitely fail. Wang Hao calmed down again and drew more than a dozen small fireball talismans in a row, with a success rate of 50%. He was now a late-stage Qi training cultivator. Drawing such low-level talismans would not waste too much mana, nor would he feel tired. After the last piece of talisman paper on the table was used up, Wang Hao said excitedly with joy, "In the future, I don't have to go out to buy first-level mid-grade spiritual talismans, which can save a lot of spiritual stones. Wang Hao was overjoyed and stayed in the room for several days to draw talismans. At first, he only drew fireball talismans, and then he began to try earth wall talismans, water arrow talismans, sword chi talismans, etc. As the number of times increased, the success rate of talisman making also increased a lot, all stable at more than 50%. A first-level mid-grade talisman maker can make a profit as long as the success rate is 40%. He is now doing spiritual talisman business and has some profit, but Wang Hao does not plan to sell it. He still uses it mainly for himself. He doesn't have so much time to draw too many talismans. Of course, maybe he can make high-quality talismans in the future, and it is not certain that he will change his mind after the profit is large. Wang Hao put away the talisman on the table and looked at the eggs of the fantasy moon butterfly. He found that the 4 eggs soaked in the spiritual liquid were a little more alive than the one placed on the spiritual stone. 2 of the eggs were extremely prominent, and the colored lines on the surface were brighter. Chapter 40 Picking up a bargain. Wang Hao nodded with satisfaction and put another egg into the spiritual liquid. Seeing that the concentration of the spiritual liquid had decreased a lot, he refined another furnace for replacement. He didn't ask for all 5 eggs to hatch. As long as 2 fantasy moon butterflies or even 1 could come out, he would be very satisfied. This is the 78th place on the Heaven and Earth Spirit Insect list. There are more than tens of millions of spiritual insects in the world. Those who can enter the list are not ordinary. The ranking of 78 is not low. After placing the eggs, Wang Hao decided to go out for a walk. He had been in Xuanhuan market for quite a while. He went out to attend an exchange meeting and didn't go shopping properly. Today, he decided to go to the place where the casual cultivator set up stalls to see. Maybe he can pick up a bargain. Xuanhuan market is well planned. The stalls of independent cultivators are concentrated in a small square. The location is also easy to find, just next to the north gate. Wang Hao strolled around casually. It was not much different from Qingyo market. However, it was not only independent cultivators in the Qi training stage who were setting up stalls. There were also many foundation building cultivators. There were also many more kinds of things, and even second-level items were sold. Huh! What kind of wine is this? It smells so good. Wang Hao stopped at the stall of an old man in the middle stage of Qi training and pointed at the gourd in his hand. There were not many things on the old man's stall, a few animal skins, some blank talisman papers, and a few magic tools. The old man saw that the business was coming, and he hurriedly introduced, "This is Qishua brew, a spiritual wine brewed with Qishua ginseng, which can heal injuries and restore spiritual power." He took out a new gourd and said, "Would you like some?" Wang Hao shook his head and said, "I'm not interested in your wine, but I'm interested in your winemaking recipe." Wang Hao has the output of the farm. If he can get the winemaking recipe, it will be like adding wings to a tiger. The old man's face changed. "I won't sell the recipe, this is how I make a living. If you don't want to buy anything, please leave and don't interfere with my business." Another stall owner next to him sneered, "Old man Zhou, what business can you have with your pile of junk? And your wine is more expensive than the ones in the restaurant, and the effect is not as good as others. Who would buy it? This Taoist wants to buy your recipe. I advise you to sell it, so that you won't be able to afford spiritual rice in a few days and starve to death on the street." The old man immediately cursed at the man. "Bah! Even if I starve to death, I will never be a prodigal son and sell my ancestral recipe. The poor effect of the red blood brew is because the raw materials are a little low in age. There is absolutely no problem with my craftsmanship." Section 22. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You can't sell it, does it mean the price is too low? Wang Hao muttered in his heart, "The problem is that I haven't bid yet." After finally meeting him, Wang Hao decided to try again. "This fellow Taoist Zhou, please think about it again. The price can be negotiated. If you say you won't sell it, you won't sell it. This is my ancestral craftsmanship. If you sell it, won't I become a prodigal?" The old man was extremely determined. "If so, can fellow Taoist Zhou accept the employment to make wine for me?" Wang Hao suddenly remembered the Wang family's shop in Qingyiwanfang City. Sooner or later, he and Wang Yanzhao would leave. By then, the shop would run out of elixirs and would return. In the half-dead state before, hiring this old man to make wine was more or less an income. The old man's expression lit up when he heard this. He now had no fixed place to live and had no food to eat. If someone could hire someone, at least the food and clothing problem would be solved, so he asked, "How much salary can you give? Can you provide a place to live? Do you care about the food? And I won't leave Qingyiwanfang City." Wang Hao smiled when he heard this, and the matter was settled. "I will give you 30 spiritual stones every year. The salary of my Wang family is the same price. Housing and food will be provided naturally. I will work in Qingyiwanfang City. I am a descendant of the Wang family of Qingyiafang. If you agree, you can join my Wang family as a guest." Then he pointed to the stall in front of him. "If you swear with your Taoist heart that you will not harm my Wang family and at least work in 10 years, I will take care of everything in your stall, which is considered as a gift for hiring you. Is there a high-grade magic weapon Fantian seal here? The other miscellaneous items are worth 240 spiritual stones. Are you really willing to buy it?" The old man looked at Wang Hao suspiciously. "There are so many spiritual stones." The stall owner next to him couldn't help but laugh again, and said to Wang Hao, "Young man, don't be fooled. Old Zhou's pile is just junk. No one wants 100 spiritual stones. Why not give him a heavenly seal? How damaged it is. How much does it cost to buy a new high-grade magic weapon from Qingyuan Pavilion? You have the nerve to charge full price. Gu'er, don't bully others too much. If you talk too much, I will fall out with you. It doesn't matter if you fall out, I can still be afraid of you. I can't bear to see you here harming fellow Taoists. People are kind enough to take you in, but what about you? You have to be shameless. At such an old age, you have to live in the belly of a dog." Wang Hao picked up the Fantian seal and examined it curiously. The color was earthy yellow, and the material seemed to be made of some kind of earth attribute spiritual material. There was a small crack on its body. If this thing was bought for 100 spiritual stones, indeed a loss. However, many predecessors have this thing. If Wang Hao doesn't have it, he won't be like the protagonist. For this bad taste, there is no harm in buying it. He coughed. "I'll give you 150 spiritual stones. If you agree, follow me. 100 spirit stones are too few." The old man wanted to raise the price, but before he could finish his words, Wang Hao turned around and left. He quickly changed his words. "Fellow Taoist, I agree, it's only 150. Hey, the price is too high." Gu'er shook his head inside. Wang Hao smiled and handed over to him. "Thank you, fellow Taoist, for reminding me. Where, one of you is willing to fight and the other is willing to suffer, but I am the bad guy." Gu'er smiled mockingly to himself. Wang Hao took the old man back to the shop and said, "This is where you will work in the future. Oh, I forgot to ask my friend's name." "I'm Wang Hao." The old man was a little disappointed when he saw that the shop was small, but it was a place to stay, so he saluted and said, "I have met my boss. My surname is Zhou, and my name is Xuanhuan. Others call me Old Man Zhou. Then I will call you Mr. Zhou from now on." Xuanhuan quickly refused. "I don't dare, my master's cultivation is very advanced." Wang Hao waved his hand. "Hey, if you join the Wang family as a guest, you will become a family. The children of my family are regardless of their cultivation level, only their seniority. Zhou is the elder, so this title is not an exaggeration." Xuanhuan said humbly. "Then I will accept it shamelessly," and then asked cautiously, "I wonder where the ingredients for this wine are. There are also spiritual stones. I'll give it to you as soon as you swear, and you won't be short of materials or spiritual stones." Xuanhuan hurriedly swore with his Taoist heart. Wang Hao didn't hesitate and paid him 150 spiritual stones. He also took out 100 red blood ginseng plants of 50 years and 10 years. You can use these materials first, and we will store them in other stores. We will also collect relevant materials. When will the spirit wine be ready? Chapter 41 Refining Qi Gathering Pill. Xuanhuan put away the spirit stone with a smile, and then said, red blood wine is not difficult to brew, and it only takes 2 months to drink. But since it is wine, its quality is not only related to the raw materials used, but also the age. The longer it is left, the better the quality will be. The better. Wang Hao nodded, it doesn't matter. As you can see, the store's business is average. After the wine comes out, we will put a few jars on the shelves first, and the rest will be slowly aged. Xuanhuan nodded and took note, then took out the Fan Tian seal and handed it to Wang Hao. My boss, I didn't lie to you. This seal was obtained by my grandfather when he was exploring the ruins of ancient cultivation. It was still a spiritual weapon at the time, but it was later damaged. Why did it become a magic weapon? But my grandfather said that if we can find earth attribute spiritual materials to repair it, it can be restored. Unfortunately, my father and I have poor qualifications and have never been able to break through the late stages of Qi training. We don't have the strength and there is no need to repair this. Fantianyan. Now that I have given it to my employer, I hope you will treat it well. Is there another reason? There is indeed something extraordinary about it. Wang Hao thought to himself that he might not have really harvested a treasure because of his bad intentions. He said calmly, it's a pity that the value of earth attribute spiritual materials is not low, and we still have to find it. With a suitable craftsman repairing it, the price is not far from buying a second-level spiritual weapon. Xuanhuan smiled awkwardly. He had been selling this thing for several years, and no one wanted it despite his words. Even if he had such concerns, to be honest, if Wang Hao gave him 100 spiritual stones, he would agree. He took Xuanhuan to see Wang Yanji and left the follow-up matters to him. Wang Hao went back to his room to prepare alchemy. He had just discovered that a batch of elixirs in the farm were mature and he could start breaking through to the second-level low-grade alchemist. Wang Hao took out the purple light furnace and fired a spell. The purple light furnace buzzed in the wind and landed steadily on the ground. Wang Hao was already familiar with alchemy, but the experience of several failed breakthroughs told Wang Hao that he still had to be more serious. Okay, as each spiritual grass is put in, more and more medicinal liquids are added. At this time in the past, Wang Hao's spiritual consciousness has been struggling, and he often fails in the next step of mixing the medicinal liquid into elixir liquid. Even if you get to the next step by luck several times, you will fail because your consciousness is too exhausted, but at this moment, his consciousness was strengthened and he felt much more relaxed. Even when mixing the elixir liquid, there was not much pressure. Only when condensing the elixir later, he had a lack of control. He continued to refine the elixir for 3 hours, and his mana and consciousness were consumed. Huge, that's why this happens. Wang Hao gritted his teeth and persisted. At the same time, he gave up most of the elixir liquid without feeling distressed, leaving only a ball. Then he persisted. As the fragrance of elixir came out, Wang Hao extinguished the flame and opened the elixir furnace. There lay a round and round elixir in it. The elixir is exactly the Qi gathering pill. After a slight sniff, there is no odor, and the fragrance of red pepper is strong, but to determine the effect, you still have to eat one. But he didn't dare to try the medicine. Even if he had some success in body refining, he still couldn't withstand the power of the foundation-building elixir. He didn't dare, so he naturally asked Lao Wang, quickly came to Wang Yanzhao's room. Old Wang, look what good things I have brought you. Wang Yanzhao frowned and was about to scold him when he saw a round pill flying towards him. He quickly caught it and raised his hand to look at it. Qi gathering pill. Looking at Wang Hao in surprise, did you refine it? Yes, try it out and tell me how it works. Wang Hao smiled proudly. At this time, Wang Yanzhao had no intention of scolding Wang Hao. After checking that there was no defect, he put it in his mouth and closed his eyes. After a full quarter of an hour, he opened his eyes and said, not bad, the heat is still the same. It's a bit worse, but it has something to do with your cultivation. When you reach the 8th level of Qi training, your spiritual consciousness and spiritual power will increase, and you will be able to control the fire more easily. Wang Yanzhao asked Wang Hao carefully about the refining process and gave him some guidance. It was not until late at night that Wang Hao returned to his room, recalled it, and then fell asleep. Wang Hao woke up early the next day and met Chu He and Qin Qing as soon as he went out. Brother Chu and Fairy Chen came to Wang so early, but what is the important matter? I do have something to discuss with Brother Wang. Chu He extended his hand and said, please move over, let's go to the tea house over there to talk in detail. Wang Hao had nothing to do today, so he nodded and agreed. The three of them quickly came to Wenxian tea house and asked for a private room. After the waiter poured tea and closed the door, Qin Qingkai said, the two of us want to ask Brother Wang for help with something, but this is also an opportunity. Please explain. Wang Hao and the two of them have known each other for how long? If it was a casual matter, he would definitely help, but if it was too dangerous, he would definitely not participate. So Qin Qing slowly started to talk about how the Qingyuan sect would store the fruits from the Ningyuan fruit tree, plus the third-level demon pills that were hunted from time to time, so that they could refine a furnace of foundation building for the disciples every 5 years. Dan. But how many disciples are there in the Qingyuan sect? To whom is it given and to whom is it not given? So it was stipulated that in addition to the 10,000 contribution points needed to redeem the foundation establishment pill, disciples within the sect were also required to complete a dangerous task, which was both an assessment and an experience. You could ask for help, but it was limited to the Qi refining period, and the number of people did not exceed 4. The day when foundation establishment pills are distributed once every 5 years is coming soon. The auction that Wang Hao and Wang Yanzhao are going to attend is after that. This is also one of Qingyuan sect's methods of attracting people to Qingyuanfang city. They always appear at every auction. At least one foundation establishment pill. So Brother Chu wants to redeem the foundation building pill? Wang Hao looked at Chu He. Chu He nodded, yes, I have been practicing at the 9th level for several years, so I asked Brother Wang Xian for help. Wang Hao hesitated a little. This kind of task was not easy, and the risks involved were certainly not low. He was about to refuse. Brother Wang Xian, don't be too busy to refuse. What I am hunting this time is a poisonous python. It is only a 2nd level low grade. I have prepared the 4-elephant formation. There is not much danger. I would like to ask Brother Wang Xian for the reward, said he handed over a map. This is an ancient cave. I discovered it accidentally. But at that time, I was alone and had low magic power and could not break through the formation. Now we can work together to break it. I agreed to my brother's permission and gained 4 people. Divide it equally, and the wise brother will choose first. Ancient Xiu Cave. Wang Hao did not take the map, his eyes moved. In the past few years, who knows if that cave is still there, but even if it is, it's hard to say what is inside. Brother Xian is worried about the harvest. Brother Wei really can't guarantee it. Chu He frowned and thought for a while, then said, let's do this. If there is no harvest, Brother Wei will give Brother Xian 2 2nd-level low-grade spiritual talismans as a reward. How about that? Wang Hao still did not agree in a hurry. 2 spiritual talismans were only worth a few hundred spiritual stones. Instead, he asked, can I ask why Brother Chu chose me? You know that we have only met twice, and we have nothing to do with each other. I don't understand, and my strength is low. Why doesn't Brother Chu choose other senior brothers in the sect to help? Chapter 42 Foundation Building Task. Why should you be too modest, a good brother? Chu He stared at Wang Hao's collar, which made Wang Hao tremble, thinking that he had some special hobby. I'm afraid Brother Xian's skin is not something that ordinary people should have. Brother, I still have some knowledge. Such skin should be caused by some kind of body refining technique. Chu He said with a smile, but at the same time, Brother Xian it's hard to explain how to refine elixirs. As we all know, you can't refine elixirs through physical cultivation, so there is only one possibility. Xiandi cultivates both body and method. Gone, you think you are a detective. Wang Hao was speechless. Is it necessary to stare at someone's collar? Chen Qin also complimented. Generally, physical cultivation is a bit stronger than monks of the same level, but Brother Wang's physical and mental cultivation, his strength is probably far beyond the 7th level of qi refining. And the poisonous python lives in the swamp, and Brother Wang refines elixirs. Being a master is also good at dispelling poison and avoiding evil. As for choosing other fellow disciples in the sect, she said with a bitter smile, there are not many people who are willing to help based on their relationship with the same sect, and there are also many competitions for foundation establishment pills. If you are not careful, the news will be leaked. I don't need to tell you what the consequences will be. Wang Hao stared at them and said, but after all, I am at the 7th level of qi refining. Even if I have achieved a small degree in body refining, I can't compare to the 9th level of qi refining monks. It's really scary for you two to believe so deeply. Didn't you say that there are 4 people in total? Where is the other fellow Taoist? Chu he smiled bitterly, Xiandi is so cautious. In fact, Xiandi also knows another Taoist friend, and it was she who highly recommended Xiandi. Fairy Li, please show up and meet me. As soon as he finished speaking, the door opened and a red figure walked out. Li Durong, why is it you? Why can't it be me? Li Durong said calmly after greeting the other two of my Li family members joined the Xuanhuan sect last year, and they were all taken care of by Brother Chu and Fairy Chen, so I came to help. If there is a problem, that she had a very bad impression of Wang Hao. The information she got after the competition that day was difficult to appreciate, but she still recognized Wang Hao's strength. A few days ago, Chu found the Li family, hoping that the Li family could produce 2 people. Help, and in return, Chu he will accept the 2 people from the Li family who joined the Xuanhuan sect as disciples after establishing the foundation. So she came, and after learning that Chu he had contact with Wang Hao, she recommended Wang Hao. The purpose of recommending Wang Hao is firstly that Wang Hao is stronger, and secondly that the Li family does not want to leave 2 people to avoid suffering losses. Chu he said again, Brother Wang Xian, as long as you help me next time, in addition to the reward, I owe you another favor. Now that I am at the 9th level of qi training, favors are not valuable, but once the foundation is established. The favor of the foundation establishment monk, or the foundation establishment of the Xuanhuan sect, is indeed valuable. At least Wang Hao can't refuse this temptation at the moment. Okay, since you two think highly of me, I will agree. Then I'd like to thank my dear brother in advance. The departure is scheduled for 5 days. My dear brother, please make more preparations during this time. Chu he thanked him with great joy, and then asked, I hope my dear brother will not tell others about this. To prevent the news from leaking. Wang Hao nodded, of course I know this. Then don't worry, brother. The two then said goodbye. Wang Hao was walking on the road, thinking about it. In the past, when he was sitting in a shop in Qingniafang, some people invited him to search for elixirs, explore caves, etc., but he refused because at that time, he felt that cultivation was the foundation. You must put down everything and devote yourself to improving your cultivation, but now that he is in the late stage of qi training, there is still no news about the Ning Yuan fruit. It is impossible to get the Ning Yuan fruit sitting at home. He must go out and take risks. Only by getting involved in the unknown places can he get generous rewards. This it is the law of cultivating immortals, and the principle is to be patient, but taking risks is life, and there is no conflict. Since he was going out on an adventure, he had to be properly prepared. Using spiritual herbs that exceeded the value to pay for the price, Wang Hao directly emptied the first-order talisman papers in the shop and started the business of making talismans again. 5 days later, Wang Hao looked at the more than 200 magic talismans on the table, nodded with satisfaction, stretched his muscles and bones, made a clicking sound, tidied them up, and called out Yaya and Xiaobai. Xiaobai successfully advanced, reaching the height of an adult at the first level. With a body length of more than 10 feet, and he was still growing slowly. Yaya saw that it was still early for him to advance, so he fed them separately and put them away again. Wang Hao then observed the eggs of the moon butterfly and found that one of the eggs had completely lost its activity for some reason. The other two eggs had also lost some activity compared to before. On the contrary, the activity of the last two eggs had increased a lot, more than half. Wang Hao thought to himself, could it be that the other three eggs had the life essence absorbed by the other two? But that was the case, and Wang Hao had no choice but to replace the medicinal solution, sealed them in the cabinet, left a transmission note on the table, informed him of his whereabouts, and went out. Wang Hao met with the other three people, and the four of them gathered together to discuss things first. He glanced at everyone and said, actually, there are 3 missions to choose from this time, but I practice earth-based skills, and junior sister Chen uses water-based skills, so I chose the sinister python of the water system. Wang Hao thought to himself that he was a little restrained because of his fire and wood skills, but it was obviously impossible for He to change tasks. Now, the 4 people had different skills, so someone would definitely be restrained. We are going all the way north this time. There is a swamp in the Xuanhuan mountains. The nest of the sinister python is in that swamp. The swamp is filled with miasma. There are many poisonous insects and snakes, more than tens of thousands of them. Everyone must be careful. Wang Hao asked, do you know the habits of the sinister python? Section 23. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. This kind of poisonous python likes swamps and places where poisons are everywhere. It doesn't like sunlight. It usually stays in its lair at noon. This is also when it is relatively weak. It is best for us to choose to do it during the day. If it comes at night, we will become prey. Chen Qing said slowly. Li Durong nodded in agreement and asked, snakes sometimes gather together. Are you sure there is only one poisonous python this time? This. He hesitated after hearing the words, that's what the sect mission said, but I'm not sure if there is a second one. But as long as the 4-elephant lost formation is successfully deployed, there will be more. The first-level poisonous python will also be trapped in it, so we can just concentrate on dealing with the second-level poisonous python. Seeing everyone thinking, He's morale was a little low, so he said, the ancient cave is next to the swamp. After we hunted the poisonous python, we took a short rest and then went to break the formation. I promised Wang Xiandi and Li Xianzi that what I promised would never be less. And in order to successfully hunt the sinister python this time, I have prepared several second-level magic talismans. Even if the situation is not right, it will not be difficult for us to escape. Li Durong raised his hand to stop He's words. Brother Chu, since everyone is here, we will not retreat. To understand the situation is just to deal with it better. You say these words as if we are here for profit. Chapter 43 Confrontation with Sinister Mang. Wang Hao thought to himself that he really came here for profit. Didn't your Li family also want to find a backer for the children of the family? But you can't say it like that. Some of the things you say are too embarrassing for everyone. He looked ashamed. It's my fault. I apologize to everyone. Since everyone agrees, let's leave as soon as possible. Everyone nodded and immediately headed towards the swamp. Training monks do not have gang Qi to protect their bodies, so they cannot stay in a miasma-filled place like a swamp for too long. However, everyone also has methods, such as swallowing pills or using magic weapons to create escape light. There are still some surprises along the way. The 4 of them came to the area where the poisonous python's lair was located, and they were even more cautious. For monks, monsters are full of treasures, and the materials on them are a very important cultivation resource for human monks. But for the monster beasts, the body of the cultivator itself is a great tonic, and the blood essence on his body can promote the monster beasts to advance. This is also the source of motivation for the monster beasts to attack humans. Snake monsters have low IQs and will instinctively want to devour immortal cultivators. Therefore, the 4 of them decided to first deploy an array near the poisonous python's lair, and then Chuha would act as a bait to lure the sinister python. He already practices earth attribute skills, is good at escape techniques, and is even more capable of controlling the sinister python. Besides, everyone is working for him, so it doesn't look good for him to hide behind others when they are in danger. Seeing that the sun was high in the sky and it was almost noon, several people were ready to take action immediately. Chen Qing handed 2 formation discs to Wang Hao and Li Durong respectively, while she controlled the main formation disc. In addition, there were 8 formations that needed several formations. People invest in the corresponding 8 directions. Wang Hao looked at the map, but unfortunately only the surrounding area was unlocked, and he couldn't see much useful information. When everything was ready, Chu He nodded to everyone, deliberately made a noise, and headed towards the vicious python. The 3 of them hid and quietly waited for the vicious python to enter the urn. Wang Hao suppressed his nervousness. He had also fought against and killed second-level monsters. At this time, he was stronger and had many more cards. However, he still had several spiritual talismans tightly clasped in his hands. There were a lot of them. The attitude of running away when the situation is not good, after all, you only have one life. Boom boom boom, there was a dull sound, and Wang Hao looked into the distance and saw a giant ink-colored python more than 10 feet long and as thick as the mouth of a vat rising into the sky. He shook his head, looking annoyed as if someone had woken him up from a good dream. Chu He was indeed a monk who had been practicing qi for many years. He did not panic when faced with the sinister python. Instead, he fired several spells at the sinister python, causing the python to stagger as it had just woken up. The vicious python roared several times in anger, spat out a stream of ink and attacked Chu He. Chu He calmly formed several earth walls in front of him, and then escaped into the ground. The earthen wall was corroded by ink and collapsed instantly, but there was no figure of Chu He in it. The sinister python was stunned for a moment, and then launched several attacks to hit the place where Chu He disappeared, but Chu He had already fled far away, appeared and threw a few talismans at the sinister python. The sinister python became even angrier, twitching its tail and charging toward the Chu River with great force. Only then did Chu He start to rush into the trap. Because he had opened the distance in advance, even though the vicious python was faster, he still entered the formation first. As Wang Hao and the others poured spiritual energy into the formation plate, a large earth-yellow formation rose from the ground. Launched a series of attacks, hitting the sinister python non-stop. The sinister python was trapped in it, roared a few times, and a layer of dark aura formed on its body, resisting the attack of the large array. This 4-image formation is better at trapping the enemy. If it is a first-level monster, it can still kill it, but when facing a second-level monster, the attack will be too weak, so the 4 of them sacrificed their magic weapons one after another and attacked the sinister python together. Chu He's hands continued to form magic seals, and powerful earth spells were thrown at the sinister python. Li Durong waved her long yellow silk ribbon to restrict the movement of the vicious python, and occasionally took the opportunity to hit it twice. Wang Hao did not choose to use a sword this time, but picked up the newly acquired Fantian seal. Under the injection of Wang Hao's magic power, the 12 spiritual beads inlaid on all sides glowed brightly, and the Fantian seal was able to catch the wind, transforming into the size of a house, and smashed hard at the poisonous python. Chen Qing was manipulating the formation to avoid being broken by the vicious python. Faced with the siege of everyone, the aura shield on the sinister python finally could no longer maintain itself. The aura on its body dimmed and the aura shield dissipated instantly. However, it was still early for success. The second-level demonic beast was physically powerful. Even without the protective aura, it would not be easy for the 4 of them to kill him. Li Durong seized the opportunity, waved his long silk ribbon and rolled it towards the poisonous python, tightly binding 7 inches of the poisonous python. Chen Qing took out a seed-like magic weapon and threw it at the poisonous python. The seed took root on the ground and transformed into vines, which were tied up along the tail of the poisonous python. Chu He and Wang Hao were not idle either. While the poisonous python was trapped, they hit him with attacks one after another. Even though the second-level monster had rough skin and thick flesh, the 2 of them still beat him until blood flowed. The vicious python roared angrily, opened its mouth, sprayed out the ink stored in its body, and attacked the 4 people. These inks are highly toxic and corrosive. If you get it on your body, you will immediately lose your ability to fight. even if you don't die on the spot. Fortunately, there was a formation, and Qianqing fired his spell towards the formation. Suddenly, the situation in the formation changed, and it started to rain heavily. The ink was diluted by the rain, and was blocked by the clouds. It was no longer a threat to the four people. Wang Hao was relieved and poured more mana into the Fantian seal. The Fantian seal pressed harder against the poisonous python. The poisonous python couldn't hold on and its body suddenly became shorter. He immediately took action and repeatedly bombarded the poisonous python's wounds. The sinister python whined in pain, with a look of fear in its eyes. It emitted a stream of spiritual light all over its body, and suddenly broke away from the control of the two magic weapons, breaking the vines all over its body. Seeing that the situation was not good, Li Durong hurriedly put away the long silk, so as not to follow the footsteps of the vines. But when the sinister python broke free from the vines, it was hit several times by everyone, and its body staggered even more, and was shortened by Fan Tianyin suppression. Li Durong put away his long silk, took out a flying sword, and slashed at the weak side of the sinister python, making a long gash in its weak belly. "Brother, please put away your magic weapon, otherwise the poisonous python will be smashed into pulp by your magic weapon and it will be worthless. The Qingyuan sect only needs you to kill the monster beast to complete the task, and does not want the corpse of the monster beast. The monks can still exchange them for spiritual stones." Okay, Wang Hao put away the Pantheon seal, formed a seal with his hands, and sent out a fire dragon. This was the third transformation of the Jinghua that he had recently practiced. However, the time was still short and he could only transform into one form. He planned to test its power. The fire dragon surrounded the sinister python and attacked. Under the scorching heat, bursts of white mist evaporated from the skin of the sinister python. Chapter 44 Sudden Variables. The sinister python wailed, and Li Durong took the opportunity to use Feijian to hit its wound again. This sword cut through the belly of the poisonous python, and its bloody internal organs flowed out. It was obvious that it would not survive. After everyone attacked for a while, the poisonous python neighed several times unwillingly and fell heavily into the mire, making no sound. Everyone immediately breathed a sigh of relief, with joy on their faces. He took out his flying sword, chopped the body of the sinister python into several pieces, put it away, and said, "The body of the sinister python needs to be seen by the sect. I'll tell you later. I will exchange them for spiritual stones and distribute them to you all." This was all agreed upon in advance, and Wang Hao had no objection. He added, "The sinister python's lair is down there. There might be some treasures there. Let's go down and have a look. If the thief didn't leave empty-handed, he would have to search for it if he came." Everyone nodded happily, so they put away their formations, and he took the lead and cautiously explored the sinister python's lair. Snakes naturally live in nests. In the nest, everyone encountered some first-level poisonous pythons and some unleveled poisonous snakes. However, they had no leader and were fighting on their own. They could not stop the four of them at all. As they passed by after a fight, all four of them harvested some first-order materials. Arriving at the depths of the lair, the environment was very cold and damp. The four of them were now in a huge cave, which was 100 feet high and 200 to 300 feet long and wide. He looked at the blood-colored cave walls around him and said slowly, "If your guess is correct, these should be blood dragon stones, at least formed by being soaked in the blood of third-order dragons. Devouring these blood dragon stones by snake-like monsters has the effect of improving the bloodline." Qin smiled and said, "No wonder there are such venomous snakes here. It turns out to be the blood dragon stone. The blood dragon stone can extract the essence and blood of the dragon. It is a third-level spiritual object, but it is difficult to refine, but it is also rare. We can chop some of the second-level weapon refining materials and take them away." He nodded and looked at Wang Hao. "I just saw that Brother Xian's treasure seal seems to be damaged. It would be best to use this blood dragon stone to repair it. I also know a weapon refiner in the sect. Then I can introduce him to my good brother." Wang Hao asked, "Is this blood dragon stone an earth attribute?" "It's hard to say, it depends on what attribute the dragon has. If you think it's not suitable for use, you can sell it for Earth Attribute spiritual materials. Earth Attribute spiritual materials are not difficult to find in Fang City. He explained. Just as everyone was sizing up the blood dragon stone in front of them, an angry roar suddenly came from the depths of the cave. After a moment, a giant red python appeared in front of the four people. Why is there a second-level python? Chen Qing asked in surprise, but the four of them had already expected this. They did not panic too much, but quickly gathered together and faced the red python with vigilance. The red giant python was bigger than the sinister python, 4 to 5 feet long. He swallowed. I'm afraid this is not a second-level mid-level monster. Something's wrong, look at his skin, it looks like he just changed it a while ago, Li Durong warned. Wang Hao looked over and found that something was wrong with the python's skin, and there were still some broken skin hanging on its body. Snake monsters have to shed their skin every time they advance, and this python has obviously just completed it, considering that Xiao Bai and Yaya both sleep for a long time when they advance. This python should have been sleeping just now, and everyone woke it up after entering the cave. He just advanced to the second-level middle grade, and he is still in a weak period. Everyone don't panic. He shouted loudly at this time, and then he cast spells to attack the python. The python seemed to be really in a weak period, and its movements were a little slow. It was hit by Chuhi's spell, but it was not injured. After all, it was a second-level middle-grade monster. With a sweep of its tail, it swept Chuhi away directly. Chuhi's body appeared with a yellowish-brown shield light, but he still vomited blood after landing. The four people were blocked in this underground cave. If they didn't kill the python, they obviously couldn't get out. The python succeeded in one strike, hissed at the four people with contempt, and continued to attack. Everyone used magic weapons to resist, and Wang Hao also threw out talismans and cast fireballs, but unfortunately they did not cause much damage. Li Durong used the same trick again, took out the flying sword and hit the python repeatedly, opening several cuts on it. The skin of this red python had just been changed not long ago, and the strength was not enough. If it was a second-level middle-grade monster that had been promoted for a long time, Li Durong's flying sword would not be able to cut it. The three saw that Li Durong's magic weapon could cause damage to the python, and they also used means to delay the python as much as possible so that Li Durong could hit it better. But how could the red python let the four people have their way? It turned around quickly and pounced on Li Durong, who heard it angrily. The four people were not far away, and they thought that the python wanted to attack them, so they all used their body skills to escape. When they reacted, they found that the python was staring at Li Durong. Chuhi was injured, and his fighting power was greatly reduced. If Li Durong, who had the highest fighting power, got into trouble again, could everyone still leave this place? So Wang Hao took out the second-level inferior golden sword talisman, activated it and threw it at the python, and at the same time turned around and went to rescue Li Durong. Chuhi and Chen Qing obviously realized this, and also stopped and took out the talisman at the bottom of the box to hit the python. The second-level inferior talisman did not have much effect on the second-level middle-level monster beast. Fortunately, this monster beast had just advanced. After a burst of crackling explosions, the monster beast had several deep wounds on its body. The action was slightly hesitant, but unfortunately it still did not hurt the root. The python was aroused and became more angry. It stared at Li Durong in front of it, twisted hard and moved very fast. In an instant, it jumped over a distance of several feet and came in front of Li Durong and Wang Hao, opened its bloody mouth and bit Li Durong. Facing such a dangerous scene, Li Durong's face changed drastically. It was too late to escape at this time. He smiled miserably and raised his flying sword, looking like he would make the monster suffer even if he died. Even the second-level inferior spiritual talisman could not do anything to the python, which made Wang Hao more aware of the importance of Li Durong. The only ADC who could break the defense must be kept, otherwise this game would be GG. With a determined heart, he took out the Fantian seal and the Lifeng sword and rushed towards the python. There is great terror between life and death, but once you make a choice, you can't hesitate. Wang Hao's courage seemed to be stimulated. The Fantian seal smashed into the python's mouth fiercely, breaking two of its teeth, and at the same time, the shell of the Fantian seal shattered with a bang. Wang Hao didn't have time to feel distressed. He stretched out his hand and pushed Li Durong away for a distance, and inserted a sword into one of the python's eyeballs. Section 24. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The big python whined and shook its head violently. Wang Hao was thrown out violently and smashed deeply into one side of the cave wall. Wang Hao's vision went dark and he fainted. Brother Wang! Brother Wang Xian! Chu He and Chen Qin cried out sadly, their eyes about to burst. You evil beast, I will fight with you. That he said that the magic weapon and talisman were free of charge, and he greeted the big python, Li Durong, who came back to his senses, glanced in the direction of Wang Hao with a complicated expression, his eyes turned red, and he stabbed the big python's other eyeball with his flying sword. Chapter 45 Wutu Jingshi. The three of them no longer held back, and even exchanged injuries for injuries. In addition, both of the python's eyes were blinded, so it was difficult for the attacks to hit, and their strength was greatly reduced, giving everyone a chance. A quarter of an hour later, as the ground shook, the huge red python's huge body fell heavily to the ground, completely lifeless. The three of them didn't care to check the situation of the big python, but quickly came to Wang Hao's place. They either used magic tools or dug with their hands to dig Wang Hao out of the wall. Brother Wang Xian, wake up! Chu He slapped Wang Hao on the face. Li Durong and Chen Qin checked Wang Hao's injuries, bandaged his wounds and applied ointment. They were relieved when they saw that although he had many wounds all over his body, his heartbeat was strong and his life was obviously fine. Wang Hao felt pain all over his body. If he hadn't practiced the ice muscle and jade bone skill, he might have been in trouble this time. He opened his eyelids with difficulty and said, "Can the monster be dealt with? That evil beast is dead. Brother Wang Xian, it's great that you're okay." Seeing a big man in Chuha with red eyes and tears, Wang Hao remembered the way he stared at his collar that day, and his body suddenly trembled. Breaking away from Chu He's embrace, he said, "There's nothing big to do here. I just need to recuperate. You'd better go to the depths of the cave to check in case there are other dangers." "Okay, Brother Xian is right. Junior Sister Chen and I will go check out the situation first. Fairy Li will stay behind to look after Brother Xian." After saying that, he picked up the magic weapon and led Chen Qin to explore the depths of the cave carefully. Li Durong took out a bottle of elixir, and his tone was no longer as cold as before. "Thank you for saving me this time. I will repay you for your life-saving grace in the future. This is a healing elixir, which is extremely effective for physical injuries. Take it first." Wang Hao didn't show any pretense. He took the elixir and ate 2 pills. He smiled miserably and said, "Fairy Li, you don't have to be like this. Saving you means saving yourself. If something happens to you, the three of us will be killed by that evil beast sooner or later." Li Durong shook his head. "Without your push, Durong would have been killed by the beast. You'd better say less and refine the elixir quickly." Wang Hao nodded, said nothing, and began to use his kung fu to heal his injuries. Li Durong was not seriously injured. He also took 2 pills and sat next to Wang Hao to protect him. After waiting for about half an hour, Chu He and Chen Qin turned around. Seeing that Wang Hao was fine, they smiled and said, "Brother Wang Xian, although this time is dangerous, we have gained a lot. We found a nest of second-order pythons deep in the cave. The snake eggs, a lot of medicinal herbs, and the corpses of these 2 monsters can be sold for at least 6,000 spiritual stones." As he spoke, he took out an earth-yellow stone. "Brother Xian, aren't you looking for earth-attribute spiritual materials? This is Wutu Jingshi, a second-level low-grade spiritual material. Brother Xian's treasure seal is broken, so just take this. Use spiritual materials to create one again. This fine stone is about the size of 2 watermelons. If used well, it can be used as the main material to create 2 spiritual weapons. At the price of a second-level spiritual material, it can be sold for at least 500 spiritual stones." Wang Hao took the Wutu essence stone. His Fantian seal only had a broken shell, and there was a small seal inside. Wang Hao couldn't figure it out. At that time, he He just put it in the storage bag in a hurry, so he could only go back and study it slowly, so he said, "This tincture is indeed useful, so I accepted it shamelessly." When dividing the spirit stones equally, just divide it by 500 less. Then how to do it? This essence stone is to compensate the wise brother, Chu. He looked at the other two people. Do junior sister Chen and Li Xianxia have any objections? Qin Qing shook his head and said, "Of course not. If it weren't for Brother Wang's life-threatening blow, we would never have been able to obtain so many treasures so easily." Li Durong also shook his head and said, "Don't refuse. If you don't want it, I won't have the shame to take other treasures." Wang Hao saw that they didn't look like they were hypocritical, so he accepted it. After all, some of them committed violent murders due to uneven distribution of the spoils. He was injured at this time and had to test it out. The swamp monsters were rampant here. Although they had eliminated 2 high-level pythons, they were still afraid that other high-level monsters would come looking for movement, so the 4 of them took a brief rest and quickly left the swamp. After the 4 rested for 2 days, they were ready to go get the relics. He said that he encountered it when he was at the 7th level of Qi training. He was blocked by the formation and could not enter. However, the formation was not very strong and the 4 of them could definitely break it. The 4 of them came to a small hill, which was on the edge of the Xuanhuan mountains. The spiritual energy was rich, and it seemed that there was at least a second-order spiritual vein nearby. It's right below. We can find it by diving down using earth escape technique. He said, pointing to a piece of land. The 4 of them first observed the movement around them and found no trace of humans or monsters before they started to dive. After more than 10 feet, a light green light curtain appeared in front of them. "This is it, let's do it." He said excitedly, taking out a magic weapon in his hand and hitting the light curtain hard. Wang Hao and Li Durong looked at each other and took action one after another. He didn't lie. This formation was not strong and not aggressive. They were passively beaten. The 4 people attacked continuously for a long time, and finally the light curtain couldn't hold on and shattered. Without support, Wang Hao felt his feet soften, his body fell rapidly, and hit the ground with a bang. Before he could react, another person hit him. Wang Hao subconsciously reached out and pushed, but he felt something was wrong and hurriedly retracted his hand. Li Durong blushed and hurriedly stood up. He and Qin Qing were looking at the scene in front of them and did not notice the 2 people. In front of them was a cave. Looking at the traces of the surrounding stone walls, it was obviously artificially excavated. Wang Hao thought there was no danger here, but he probably didn't get much. Sure enough, the 4 of them easily found a skeleton. The clothes had completely rotted. This person had been dead for at least hundreds of years. There was a storage bag hanging around the waist of the skeleton. He carefully picked up the storage bag and shook it a few times. Seeing that there was no danger, he opened it and poured out the contents. A flash of light flashed, and a pile of things appeared on the ground. There are about 4,000 spirit stones, 3 second-level magic tools, one of which is a red alchemy furnace, in addition to some jade bottles and jade slips, plus a formation plate. Wang Hao picked up a jade bottle and found that it contained some kind of elixir, but it was too long. After he poured out the elixir, it quickly turned into ash and was blown away by the wind. It's a pity that this is a second-level elixir, and a bottle is worth more than 300 spirit stones. Wang Hao said regretfully. This senior should be a foundation-building cultivator. It seems that he fled here to heal his injuries after being seriously injured, but unfortunately he died here. Li Durong analyzed. He nodded and pointed to the surrounding stone walls. Look at these traces, they are not flat, they should have been opened in a hurry. Let's check those jade slips first, maybe there are messages left by the seniors. Qin Qing said softly. Chapter 46. Something is wrong. So the 4 of them picked up several jade slips to check the situation. Wang Hao got a jade slip that recorded the practice method, called Thick Earth True Art, which is an earth-based practice method that can be cultivated to the golden core stage. Another jade slip recorded a spell for attacking with spiritual consciousness, called the God-Splitting Cone, which condenses the power of spiritual consciousness into a cone to attack the opponent's spiritual consciousness. It is very powerful. Once the spiritual consciousness of a cultivator is broken, it is no different from a living dead person, almost at the mercy of others. But there is a prerequisite, that is, your spiritual consciousness must exceed that of the opponent, otherwise not only will the attack be ineffective, but it will also be counterattacked. However, this technique can strengthen and increase the spiritual power of the cultivator. As long as it is a cultivator of the same level, it is almost certain to win. Wang Hao has taken the concentrating God pill, and with the help of the soul-nourishing flower, he can also strengthen his spiritual consciousness under slow nourishment. The spiritual power is stronger than that of the same level. If he practices this technique again, he can use it as a trump card. I am here for alchemy. This person is a second-level middle-grade alchemist, and he has several pill recipes. Li Durong said. He followed up, here are some miscellaneous notes recording the situation of the monsters in Xuanhuan Mountain, but I don't know how many years have passed, and they are no longer useful. This senior is really extraordinary. Here are the talisman-making techniques. Judging from the records, the senior is at least a second-level lower-grade talisman maker, Chen Qing exclaimed. Wang Hao also repeated the skills and spells he saw. The four people all had happy expressions on their faces. They thought they didn't gain much, but they didn't expect that this senior was a rich man. Of course, compared with the foundation-building cultivators of those big sects, it is not rich. A foundation-building cultivator only has 3 spiritual tools and thousands of spiritual stones. It can't be said to be poor, but it is not related to the word rich, but Wu is the God-splitting cone, which can be used as a trump card. It is priceless and some medium-sized sects may not have it. He said, we will each make a copy of these skills and share the spirit stones equally. As for the other things, as we agreed, Brother Wang will pick them first. Wang Hao looked at the alchemy furnace and said lightly, there is nothing to pick. Everyone knows that I am an alchemist. Well, the alchemy furnace belongs to Brother Wang. He looked at Li Durong again. Fairy Li, what do you want? I want that flying sword spirit weapon. He handed the flying sword to Li Durong, and gave the remaining defensive spirit weapon to Chen Qing. He took the array plate. The 4 of them finished dividing the things and did not stay any longer. They hurriedly buried the bones of the foundation-building senior and rushed back to Xuanhuan market with all their strength. More than 10 days later, everyone returned safely and parted at the city gate. He agreed to meet everyone again after reselling the supplies. It was just more than 1,000 spirit stones, but Wang Hao didn't take it seriously. His biggest gain on this trip was the God-splitting cone, which not only strengthened his spiritual consciousness, but also attacked the enemy unexpectedly. Wang Hao now has 2 spells to learn. He has only learned the basics of the 3 changes of fire and essence. According to his own classification, he has not even mastered it, and is still far from being a master. He also has to comprehend the newly acquired second-level talisman-making technique, so he won't have to go out for a long time. Returning to the Wang family shop, Wang Hao found Wang Yanzhao. This time I went out and got another recipe for the foundation-building pill. If you can learn it, you will never lack foundation-building pills in the future. Wang Yanzhao said with a straight face, where did you go crazy again? This Xuanhuan market is full of people, even I have to be careful, but you are not seen every 2 or 3 days. That's right, I have lived alone for almost 30 years. If I had sat at home, could I have achieved my current cultivation? Wang Hao held the jade slip in his hand. Do you want it? If not, I will keep it for myself. Of course I want it. Your father has given you so many good things, it's time to recover some of the cost. Wang Yanzhao took the jade slip, checked it, put it down for a moment, and said, it turns out that there are so many restrictions on refining foundation-building pills with demon pills. Compared to the condensation fruit, the 3rd-level demon pill has more complex ingredients, which require the alchemist to separate and remove them one by one. If they cannot be removed, they must be neutralized and suppressed with corresponding auxiliary medicines. Because it wastes too much energy of the alchemist, the success rate of the pill is also much lower. 3 or 4 pills in one furnace is already a high yield. Even so, the foundation building pill made from the demon pill is still not as good as the one made from the condensation fruit, and the success rate of the foundation building pill can be reduced by half. Even if you get the recipe, it's not easy to get a third-level demon pill. If it were that easy, wouldn't there be many foundation building cultivators? Wang Hao said, third-level demon pills are always easier to get than condensed fruits. Maybe there will be some at this auction. Wang Yanzhao shook his head and sighed. A third-level lower-grade demon pill requires at least 50,000 spirit stones. This time, your father wants to buy Joji grass, but he doesn't have that many spirit stones to buy demon pills. You don't have to buy it now, Wang Hao chuckled. Even if the materials are complete, you can't refine the foundation building pill. You need at least a second-level upper-grade alchemist. What's that look in your eyes? Are you looking down on your father? Wang Yanzhao was furious at Wang Hao's teasing look. Get out, your father still needs to refine pills, and drove Wang Hao out. The auction is coming soon, don't run around during this time. That what Wang Hao didn't know was that the Wang family had a second-level upper-grade alchemist, who was the current head of the family. Unfortunately, he rarely made pills after being injured. The family that has been passed down for hundreds of years still has some foundation. Even if Wang Yanzhao didn't say it, Wang Hao wouldn't run around. His time is very precious, and he has gained enough this time. Back in the room, he didn't rush to practice the secret technique, but took out the Fantian seal. After breaking the shell, the Fantian seal became smaller. The appearance didn't change much. It was still divided into 2 layers. The lower layer was square, and each side was engraved with white cloud patterns and inlaid with 3 gems. The upper layer was retracted inward to form a handle that could be held by the palm. There was only 1 gem inlaid on each side, but Wang Hao noticed that the seal was still covered by some materials, causing some runes to be unable to appear and could not be seen clearly. Wang Hao tried to refine it with flames and attack with magic tools, but it didn't work. Injecting a trace of spiritual power also didn't work at all. Do you want to recognize the master again? The cultivator must recognize the master of the magic tool in his hand before he can drive it, and the hesitation of the first and second levels is relatively simple, and only a simple soul mark is needed to complete the recognition of the master. Wang Hao had already recognized the Fantian seal once before. Now it seems that the soul mark left was only on its shell, and it disappeared as the shell shattered. Wang Hao tried to leave the mark again, but failed after several attempts. This is not right. Wang Hao's soul is very strong now, and even a high-grade spiritual weapon can make it recognize its master. Could this thing be a magic weapon? Wang Hao remembered that there is another way to recognize the master of a high-level magic weapon, which is to drip the essence and blood of a cultivator. Of course, the premise is that the magic weapon has no owner. Section 25. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 47 Tuhan Seal. This heavenly seal has been sealed in the shell for who knows how many years. The original owner should have died long ago. Wang Hao wanted to understand this and cut his finger without hesitation and squeezed out a drop of blood. A drop of essence and blood dripped in, as if starting some kind of ritual. Wang Hao's wound seemed to be uncontrollable, and the blood was pulled by Fan Tianyin like a thread and then sucked into it. Gone, isn't this an evil magical weapon made by an evil cultivator? Wang Hao's expression changed drastically, and he tried to cut off the connection with Fan Tianyin, but unfortunately the wound on his hand could not be blocked at all. As more and more blood is absorbed, Fan Tianyin emits a burst of soft golden light. A total of 16 orbs immediately shined brightly, and the Fantian seal became much larger and more powerful than before, without any damage. Here I go, is this considered a low-grade spiritual weapon? It turns out to be a seal within a seal. Wang Hao examined it carefully and vaguely felt that he had some connection with the Fantian seal. The feedback he received was that it was not Fantian at all. Seal, but called Tuhan seal. It turns out that the level is very high, but the detailed information is unclear. It seems that Wang Hao needs to remove the remnants of the shell to fully understand it. I missed it. Wang Hao himself was a little speechless, but it is not heaven-defying. The current power of the earthly Hun seal is only enough to be a high-grade spiritual weapon, but according to its simple description, as long as it is integrated with the earth attribute materials can restore their original power. Wang Hao happened to have a piece of earth attribute material in his hand, Wutu Jingshi. Wang Hao cut out a fist-sized Jingshi, lit the spiritual carbon, and carefully refined it. Because he had been refining elixirs for a long time, this step was not difficult for Wang Hao. Seeing the essence of the stone melting to form a pool of earth essence, Wang Hao slowly approached the earth mud seal. Something magical happened. Xuanhuan seemed to feel the essence of Wutu, and it emitted bursts of light to absorb it, and its power was visibly increased by the naked eye. If it was barely considered a low-grade spiritual weapon before, then it is now a low-grade spiritual weapon. So Wang Hao continued to smelt other Wutu essence stones. After all of them were absorbed by the Tuhun seal, its power reached the peak of low-grade spiritual weapons, which was much stronger than ordinary low-grade spiritual weapons. Wang Hao guessed that it was not the quantity of the Wutu Jingshi that was the problem, but the quality. The Wutu Jingshi was originally a second-level low-grade spiritual material, so the Tuhun seal could not be advanced to a mid-grade spiritual weapon. What a big loss, you only get a low-grade spiritual weapon for 500 spirit stones, Wang Hao said regretfully. If he had known better, he would have invested less. We should pay attention to earth attribute spiritual materials from now on. There is another place for flower spiritual stones. Wang Hao calculated an account for himself. 2 spiritual beasts would eat nearly 100 spiritual stones every month. He also needed 100 spiritual stones for his own cultivation, which added up to 200. There was still a moon butterfly to be hatched. Now I have another muddy seal, which is really painful and happy. Then Wang Hao took out the second-level middle-grade alchemy furnace he had been allocated. It didn't look special, it was just a simple alchemy furnace. A good alchemy furnace can not only save the alchemist a lot of mana, but also improve a little bit of success. Compared with his purple light furnace, the efficiency is much better, and it can meet Wang Hao's alchemy needs for the next period of time. Time passed and the day of the auction soon came, but Wang Hao was told that there were separate venues. The foundation building monks were in one and the Qi training period was in another. Wang Hao asked himself that he no longer needed the things in the Qi training period, so no longer interested in participating. He returned the 3,000 spirit stones given to him by Wang Yanzhao to help him pay attention to the second-level middle-grade earth attribute spiritual materials. Unfortunately, Wang Hao's luck seems to have run out. According to Wang Yanzhao, there is one spiritual material each with the attributes of gold, wood, water, and fire, but there is no earth attribute. However, even if Xuanhuan is promoted now, it will be difficult to control it with his strength in the late stage of Qi training. On the contrary, it can still be somewhat effective now. You have to eat your food one bite at a time. Wang Hao understands this truth and will just keep doing it for a few more years. In Jushin Tower, 3 people were sitting together. Chu he raised the wine glass in his hand. Brother Wang Xian, Chu was able to get the foundation establishment pill this time all thanks to your help. Come on, please drink this glass. Brother Chu, you're welcome. I just helped you a little. You guys killed the monsters. I actually made a lot of money on this trip. Wang Hao raised his head and drank the wine in his glass. It's a pity that I have to leave tomorrow. Go, it's hard to come to Qingyiwanfang City before the foundation building, and I won't be able to attend the foundation building ceremony. Then, as a brother, I'll borrow my good words from my good brother. With my good brother's abilities, I think I'll be able to build a foundation after all. Then we'll have a good time over wine. It's a deal. Wang Hao was depressed because he was unable to attend the auction, but Wang Yanzhao was very happy. In this auction, he successfully obtained the Juziko needed by the Wang family. After the owner recovers, the Wang family can make the next move with peace of mind. After returning to Qingyiwanfang City, Wang Yanzhao returned to Wangjiling without stopping, while Wang Hao put aside the business of the store and announced that he would retreat. This time he would practice the 2 spells of the Splitting God Cone and the 3 transformations of Jinghua to the master level. Time flies, and 2 years have passed. Wang Hao, who was sitting on the futon, opened his eyes and said, "These 2 years have been full of achievements. Open the panel. Name, Wang Hao, age, 28 years old, cultivation, 8th level of Qi training 600/854, Kung Fu, the 3rd level of the Red Lotus Magic Wood Heart Sutra, body training, the 3rd level of Ice Muscle and Jade Bone Kung Fu, refining internal organs, mana, 599/599, skill, alchemy, 2nd level low-grade alchemy, talisman making, 1st level high-grade talisman making technique, spells, fireball, entanglement, wooden shield. Earth escape technique, traction technique, light body technique, and perspective technique, point 3 transformations of essence fire, supernatural power, split god cone. Now all 30 pieces of land on his farm have been developed, including 14 pieces of red land and 3 pieces of black land. Under full production, his monthly income is 3,000 to 4,000 spirit stones, even if he only spends 10% of it. One's income is enough to support himself and 4 spiritual beasts. Thinking of the spirit beasts, it was time to feed them again. Wang Hao released them one by one from the spirit beast bag. Yaya was still a 1st level mid-level, but Xiao Bai advanced to a 1st level high-level. Now he is still 3 feet long. Need more. The other 2 are the moon butterflies he hatched, or moon bugs to be precise, because their current state is just 2 fleshy bugs with colorful stripes on their bodies. Each one is the size of a pillow and chubby. They are very cute, but they have no eggs. They only eat and sleep. In order to raise them, Wang Hao planted an acre of spiritual fruits. After feeding them one by one, Wang Hao let them play for a while before putting them into the spirit beast bag. Wang Hao chose to retreat this time not in a shop, but in his own courtyard, so the first thing he did after coming out was to take a look at the shop, but before he reached the store, he saw Wang Wenmei walking over in a hurry. 5th brother, you are out of seclusion. Great, I was looking for you. You seem to be in a hurry? Wang Hao asked. Wang Wenmei shook her head. I'm not sure, but I just received an order from the family that all monks above the 5th level of Qi training should return to Wangjieling immediately. Chapter 48 Returning to the family. Are all the 5th level Qi training monks? Wang Hao thought in his mind. The Wang family is probably going to do something big. The Wang family's spiritual veins were not enough in the past few years, which restricted the development of the Wang family. It is better to go back to Wangjieling to see the details. Condition. After returning to Wangjieling, Wang Hao immediately went to find Wang Yanzhao, but Wang Yanzhao was still refining elixirs in seclusion. Wang Hao did not dare to disturb him. If it was an ordinary elixir, Wang Yanzhao would not be so solemn. Those who need seclusion must be at least 2nd level elixirs. Once the medicine is taken, no one else can influence it. In this way, Wang Hao waited for more than 10 days, and Wang Yanzhao finally came out. When he saw Wang Hao, he quickly let him in. How many days have you been here? Only 10 days. Wang Hao said. Wang Yanzhao observed Wang Hao and saw a little excitement on his face when he saw that his strength had improved. Okay, you have reached the 8th level of Qi training. When did you break through? Wang Hao nodded and said, I started practicing in seclusion after returning from Qingyuanfang City, and my breakthrough happened not long ago. He then asked, Old Wang, what kind of elixir did you refine, and it took so long? It's okay to tell you. Wang Yanzhao showed a hint of caution. It's the burning blood pill. Wang Hao was shocked. Blood burning pill? Why are you refining this thing? As an alchemist, don't you know the dangers of this thing? Eat one and you will cultivate for at least 2 years. Why are you so loud? Wang Yanzhao sighed. There is nothing we can do about it. Our Wang family must open up new territories now, but how can it be so easy to fight for territory with monsters? Refining a furnace of burning blood pill is also to prevent just in case. The Wang family started out in alchemy, but their fighting skills were not very strong, right? They all went to study alchemy, and there was no time to practice spells or anything like that, so naturally they were a little weaker. You don't have to worry. The old patriarch has refined a batch of yuan building pills, and now there are 3 left, which are perfect for use with this blood-burning pill. Wang Hao frowned and didn't say anything more. He couldn't change the several foundation-building matters of the Wang family. If he didn't want the follow-up skills of the Red Lotus Phantom Wood Heart Sutra, he wouldn't bother to worry about these nonsense. Where is the target this time? The monsters in Xuanhuan Mountain are all connected together. It's hard to hit any one, right? Not only is it difficult to hit, but defense is also a big problem. It can defeat the 5 major monsters in one go. The front line of the family is always facing harassment from monsters. Wang Yanzhao groaned. The target chosen this time is Ruojuan Mountain, which is a prominent part of Xuanhuan Mountain. It will be easier to establish a defense line after taking it. Ruojuan Mountain was originally the territory of the Shao family. Unfortunately, the beast wave more than 200 years ago, the Shao family couldn't hold on and was occupied by monsters again. Ruojuan Mountain. Wang Hao opened the map and checked the terrain. It turned out to be a good choice. After taking it, it can be connected with the Wang family's old territory, and at the same time, it and the Li family can use each other's horns to defend against monsters. However, the same white area on Ruojuan Mountain was not unlocked, which made Wang Hao frown. Have you investigated the monster in Ruojuan Mountain? I'm afraid it's difficult to deal with. Well, Wang Yanzhao nodded. They are a group of long-armed monkeys. Compared with other monsters, they exist in groups and have certain organizational capabilities. There are about 2,000 in number, and more than 300 are in the market. There are also 3 second-level Gibmans. The leader is a second-level high-level Gibman. Wang Hao made some calculations in his mind. The Wang family has 3 foundation builders and the Qi refining clan has hundreds of people. They are about the same strength. If they use formations and formulate some strategies, they are very sure to win. Wang Yanzhao was very pleased to see that Wang Hao was so concerned about the Wang family's affairs. He laughed heartily and said, "You don't have to worry. We will be fully prepared this time." The old patriarch is a late-stage foundation-building monk. It is not difficult to deal with the leader of the long-armed monkeys. Your uncle and I will deal with the other 2 second-level demon monkeys. You just need to stop those first-level monkeys. The territory of the gibbon monkeys is isolated outside Xuanhuan Mountain, and any noise cannot be transmitted to other monsters. Moreover, the gibbons rely on their population advantage to often bully the surrounding monsters, which results in the scarcity of other monsters around their territory. Even if it is attacked, it will not attract any powerful monsters to support it. Moreover, the old patriarch also asked the Li family for help this time. They will come with at least 1 foundation builder and 10 Qi training monks. Based on this calculation, the chance of winning is already very high. It took the Wang family hundreds of years to achieve today's prosperity. If they don't seize the opportunity to forge ahead and stay in Wangjiling, they will never be able to develop. Wang Hao's face changed slightly after hearing this, with a trace of sadness in his eyes. Cultivating immortals, in the end, what they are fighting for is still resources, and these resources sometimes have to be fought for with their lives. If Ruojuan Mountain is successfully taken, the Wang family will have room for development in the next 100 years. If they fail to take it or take it reluctantly but pay a huge price, the Wang family will surely become the last of the 5 major families in Qingyefang, and it may take hundreds of years of recuperation to recover. A month later, all the 5th-level Qi training clansmen from all over the Wang family were recalled to Wangjiling. The day of leaving the war was not far away, so the clan leader Wang Guanan announced the departure. The group rode non-stop all the way, and it took nearly a month to arrive near Ruojuan Mountain. At the foot of Ruojuan Mountain, Wang Guanan arranged a hidden formation to avoid being discovered by monsters, and then waited for the arrival of the cultivators of the Li family. In just a few days, Li Yaozu, the foundation-building master of the Li family, arrived with 10 clansmen, including Li Durong. Looking at the dusty Li family cultivators, Wang Longyu smiled bitterly and said, "I feel guilty for troubling you to come all the way to help because of the Wang family's affairs." "No need to say that." Li Yaozu shook his head and said, "Your and my families are of the same origin. This time the Wang family intends to expand, and my Li family will naturally help. In the future, when the Wang family's power moves forward, it will also share the pressure of my Li family." Of course, Wang Longyu agreed with a smile. The two of them really thought they were a family in their friendly conversation, but the Wang family paid a lot of price. For example, the second-level monsters killed this time, the Wang family did not want any, and gave them all to the Li family. The first-level monsters also had to be given to the Li family for hundreds. That was 3 second-level monsters and hundreds of first-level monsters, worth at least 15,000 spirit stones. Section 26. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In addition, there are some elixirs, and if the Li family agrees to expand the territory, the Wang family must help. In addition, if the Li family cultivators are injured, the Wang family must give compensation, and a Qi training cultivator needs a compensation of 1,000 spirit stones. It can be said that the lion's mouth is too big. But no matter what, the Li family is willing to help and can minimize the losses of the Wang family, then it is worth it. On the other side, Wang Hao and several younger generations of the Wang family also received the Li family's Qi training cultivators. He didn't want to do this job, but now he has reached the 8th level of Qi training and has become the first person in the text generation. He couldn't hide it even if he wanted to, and he was drafted by Lao Wang early in the morning. Chapter 49, Strategy for Ruojuan Mountain. Have you recovered from the injuries you have suffered in these years? Li Durong asked indifferently, still coldly. Wang Hao smiled and replied, "Thank you for your concern, Fairy Li. It was only a flesh wound last time. It was almost recovered in Qingyuan market." "Well, that's good." Li Durong didn't say much. He just asked a question and returned to the Li family. Wang Hao didn't have much to say. He arranged the Li family, persuaded them to drink a few glasses of wine and left. The Wang and Li families rested for 3 days and decided to take action. The tactics were also very simple. In order to avoid being besieged by a large number of first-level monsters, everyone decided to eliminate some low-level long-armed monkeys first. For efficiency, it was decided to split into teams and secretly hunt down the lone long-armed monkeys. Wang Hao also brought a team of people, including Wang Wenji, Wang Wenmei and others who were familiar with him. The long-armed monkeys have occupied Ruojuan Mountain for more than 200 years, and their IQ is not low, so they are not easy to deal with. Fortunately, he still has the help of the map in his mind. Even if it only shows the range of 5 miles ahead, it is enough to deal with low-level monsters. Wang Hao used a branch to draw a map of the nearby terrain on the ground, and said to several people. The number of long-armed monkeys is huge, and they are not weak. It is unwise to fight head-on. If you are not careful, you will attract other long-armed monkeys. But their wisdom is limited after all, far inferior to us humans. We can try to defeat them one by one. He said, using branches to circle a valley on the map, and then said, we set up a trap here, and then attract some of them, and then plug the gap, and we can wipe them out in batches. Wang Wenji and others were overjoyed. The Wang family also had to reward merits after the war. The more low-level long-armed monkeys they killed, the more contributions they would get. Then let's prepare separately. At Wang Hao's order, everyone dispersed and began to transform the terrain and set up a large formation. After doing all this, they did not rush to act. Wang Hao asked them to rest for a night to recover their magic power, and they did not start until the next day. Wang Hao led a few people into the territory of the long-armed monkeys and began to kill some long-armed monkeys that were foraging alone. The ones on the periphery were all some low-grade and first-level low-grade demon monkeys, which could be easily dealt with by a few people. Those first-level demon monkeys were killed by everyone without even making a sound, but as they went deeper, first-level middle-grade long-armed monkeys began to appear. If it was just one, it would be easy to deal with, but these long-armed monkeys are social animals and forage in groups of 3 or 5. Act according to the plan. Wang Hao ordered. Everyone nodded and killed the long-armed monkeys one after another, not afraid of making a noise. After killing them all, they quickly retreated, leaving only Wang Hao in place. When the other long-armed monkeys heard the noise, they only saw Wang Hao holding a sword and gesturing at the long-armed monkey corpses on the ground. They were immediately furious, and began to call for the tribe with a few humming sounds. Soon, a group of long-armed monkeys, mainly a first-level upper-grade long-armed monkey, several first-level middle-grade long-armed monkeys and more than 20 low-grade long-armed monkeys were called together. The high-grade long-armed monkey roared at Wang Hao and led the team to charge. Wang Hao cast a few talismans to kill several low-grade long-armed monkeys. Wang Hao saw that there were not many of them and he could deal with them alone, so he did not retreat and directly sacrificed the earthly seal. The earthly seal grew in the wind and turned into a house-sized body, smashing fiercely at the demon monkey tribe. The first-grade high-grade long-armed monkey was smashed into a pulp by the earthly seal without even a single move. Wang Hao made a hand gesture, and a fire dragon was sent out from his left hand, a fire crow was sent out from his right hand, and a fire phoenix phantom condensed on his body. The fire dragon and the fire crow harvested the lives of low-level demon monkeys along the way. Whenever a long-armed monkey was touched by them, it would be on fire all over its body and turned into a charred corpse in a moment. The fire phoenix phantom on Wang Hao's body shot out fire feathers to attack the long-armed monkeys who tried to escape. In just a moment, there was only one left out of more than 20 long-armed monkeys, and Wang Hao kept it to summon other demon monkeys. Sure enough, the remaining long-armed monkey screamed in panic. A moment later, several first-grade long-armed monkeys led 30 or 40 long-armed monkeys to rush over. Wang Hao did not dare to be arrogant, and quickly retreated after casting a few talismans. Wang Hao was only 20 miles away from the ambush, and he could reach this distance in a quarter of an hour. However, the long-armed monkeys were also very fast. After Wang Hao ran for 15 miles, he was caught up by a high-grade long-armed monkey. The monkey stretched out its claws and was excited to pull Wang Hao, but Wang Hao suddenly turned around and split it in half with a sword. The monster's body was strong, but it was still a step behind Wang Hao, who practiced the ice muscle and jade bone skill. Wang Hao looked at the other monster monkeys provocatively and continued to run into the valley. The long-armed monkey's IQ was still defeated by the instinctive anger, and it continued to chase Wang Hao with a howl. "Fifth brother, go in quickly," Wang Wenmei waved to Wang Hao. Wang Hao nodded and quickly stepped into the formation. After all the long-armed monkeys entered the range of the formation, Wang Hao stopped and shouted to the people ambushing in the canyon, "Hurry up!" That everyone looked at each other and quickly activated the fire formation. The formation flag fell into everyone's hands, and a raging fire fell instantly, turning the entire valley into a purgatory on earth. The terrain of the canyon had been changed long ago, the gaps were blocked, and both ends were guarded by the Wang family monks. These long-armed monkeys had no way to retreat, and even the top-grade long-armed monkeys were burned and screamed. "Huh, this wave is rich, we can at least get a bottle of Huanglong Dan each." The Wang family monks shouted excitedly. Wang Hao shouted, "Don't be distracted, work harder, burn them to death." Everyone quickly restrained their expressions and concentrated on dealing with the long-armed monkeys trapped in the canyon. For a while, many long-armed monkeys were killed by everyone's spells. Aowu. Suddenly, the first-level top-grade long-armed monkey in the canyon howled loudly, and the other demon monkeys heard it, and they didn't care about avoiding the fire, and began to rush to the side of the canyon desperately. The monkeys in front fell to the ground, and the monkeys behind stepped on their bodies to move forward. These demon monkeys. Seeing this, Wang Hao's heart was moved. The demon beasts really should not be underestimated. Their united strength exceeded Wang Hao's expectations. The burning fire array was only an attack array, not a trap array. The openings at both ends needed to be guarded by the Wang family cultivators. If the demon monkeys rushed in like this, they might really be rushed out by them. At this time, everyone had been fighting for a while, and they had to supply spiritual power to the array, which consumed a lot of energy. It was only because Wang Hao had a high level of cultivation and strong spiritual power that he could remain calm. Others had already turned pale. Seeing that the situation was not good, Wang Hao quickly took out a bottle of Huiling pills and threw it to everyone. "Take it quickly." Huiling pills. Wang Wenmei's face lit up, and she quickly took one. The spiritual power in her body immediately recovered by 50%, and her face became ruddy. She quickly distributed the pills to others. Wang Hao stood directly in front of everyone and used half of his spiritual power to condense a huge phoenix phantom with nearly 100 fire feathers on the phoenix. Chapter 50, Fighting the second-level long-armed monkey. With a loud shout, the fire feather flew out, shooting the charging long-armed monkeys to the ground and blocking their momentum. After everyone recovered their spiritual power, they also helped. After half an hour, everyone killed all the long-armed monkeys in the canyon. Ha! After the first exciting battle, Wang Hao breathed a sigh of relief and ordered, "You go to clean up the bodies of the long-armed monkeys, I'll go over there to guard." Everyone nodded repeatedly. At this time, Wang Hao's methods had successfully convinced them. Before, they might have executed Wang Hao's orders because of his identity as the captain, but now they were willing to do so. Wang Hao observed the map and found that the long-armed monkeys that appeared on the displayed map were all gathering towards the top of Xuanhuan mountain. It seemed that the leader of the long-armed monkeys had discovered something unusual. If everyone went in to hunt, they might be ambushed, so he ordered everyone to clean up and return to the camp at the foot of the mountain. After Wang Hao returned to the camp, he found that several teams had also begun to turn back. After Wang Hao inquired, he found that the long-armed monkeys had been alerted. The Monkey King called the tribe to gather on the top of the mountain, so he had to attack hard. After a day of fierce fighting, the Xuanhuan monks needed to recover their mana and physical fatigue, so Wang Guang'an ordered an attack the next day, but when the two sides set up their positions, Wang Guang'an's face turned ugly. The intelligence was wrong. It turned out that there were 5 second-level long-armed monkeys in the group, including 1 second-level upper grade, 2 second-level middle grade, and 2 second-level low grade. "Senior Wang, I can help hold back a second-level middle-grade long-armed monkey, and you have to deal with the others by yourselves," Li Yaozu said slowly. His cultivation level was not a problem for dealing with a second-level middle-grade long-armed monkey. If he couldn't kill it, he could hold it back, but the Xuanhuan monks of his Li family would never take the risk of dealing with a second-level monster. The Wang family also had only 3 foundation-building cultivators, and Wang Guang'an was also a decisive person, so he gave instructions to several older clan elders, and those clan elders gathered together with pale faces. They must have the awareness of dedicating themselves to the family. They were experienced in fighting, and their paths were hopeless, so they were the best candidates for such dangerous tasks. Wang Hao and others had to deal with a large number of long-armed monkeys. In fact, with Wang Hao's strength, he could also carry out the task of holding back the second-level demon monkeys by joining forces with several cultivators at the peak of Qi training. But at this moment it was not a group against a single person, but a group against a group. You have helpers, and the long-armed monkeys have helpers too, which is much more dangerous than the time when you helped Chu He. Boom boom boom. The battle entered a white-hot stage at the beginning. The Wang family wanted to end it quickly to reduce casualties, while the long-armed monkeys fought back in desperation. The entire Xuanhuan mountain was in ruins, with deep pits caused by spells everywhere, and blood dyed the earth red. After all, there are only a few people like Wang Hao who are so powerful that they can kill a demon monkey in a few strokes. Most of the tribesmen are just in a stalemate or even at a disadvantage when dealing with the gibbon. The battle of several foundation-building people is not optimistic. The old clan leader Wang Guang'an has just recovered and his fighting ability is not strong. He can only delay when facing the leader of the gibbon. Li Yaozu does not want to fight for the Wang family, and he also delays. Only Wang Yanzhao and Wang Longyu have the advantage, but it will take a long time for them to kill their opponents. If this goes on, the Wang family may win, but it will be a miserable victory, and the tribesmen will definitely suffer a lot of losses. Ah! Grandpa! Wang Wenmei exclaimed, and Wang Hao followed her gaze and saw that one of the elders who dealt with the second-level gibbon had fallen to the ground. Looking at his pale face, he was afraid that he was in danger. Wang Wenmei's eyes turned red and she was about to rush over, but Wang Hao hurriedly stopped her. "I'll go to help, don't panic." Wang Wenmei was only at the 6th level of Qi training, and if she went over she would be sending herself to death. After all, she was always called brother, and Wang Hao couldn't bear to see her in danger. Wang Hao burst out suddenly, swinging his sword to kill the 2 first-level long-armed monkeys in front of him, and then went to support the elders. Seeing their graying beards and old faces, still fighting for the family, Wang Hao once again felt the cruelty of cultivating immortals, and condensed a fire dragon with both hands to attack the second-level long-armed monkey. With the addition of Wang Hao, the new force, the elders were relieved a lot, but their blood and qi had already declined. With such a high-intensity battle, they probably didn't have many days to live. The 3 changes of the spirit fire were invincible against the first-level long-armed monkey, but it was not enough to deal with the second-level long-armed monkey with a strong body. A few spells only scratched the skin. Several elders also took the opportunity to sacrifice magic weapons, but several first-level high-quality magic weapons only pierced a small hole in the skin of the demon monkey, and couldn't even tear the muscles. Even the magic weapon of a famous elder chopped the gibbon and made a sound of metal clashing, splashing sparks of sparks. Seeing this scene, many tribesmen couldn't help but show horror. This monster has a body of steel and iron, and even the top-grade magic weapon can't hurt him. Wang Hao saw that everyone was stunned, and the long-armed monkey had already rushed up, and hurriedly shouted, "Be careful." At the critical moment, an elder of the tribe sacrificed a low-grade spiritual weapon and shouted loudly, "I will resist, everyone come behind me." As soon as the voice fell, a huge phantom shield protected everyone. Section 27. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second-order long-armed monkey rushed over suddenly and hit the shadow hard. A loud dang sound shook the eardrums, and the collision happened in an instant. The shadow of the shield shattered, and the clan elder flew backwards. When he landed, a few mouthfuls of blood spurted out, and he fell to the ground sluggishly. It was obvious that he had no strength to fight anymore. The second-level long-armed monkey also suffered a lot. It was knocked away by a huge force. No matter how strong the physical body is, it is limited. It cannot be compared to the same level magic weapon that has been hammered out in the weapon refining furnace. Judging from the way it grinned, it was obvious that it had suffered internal injuries. Opportunity. Wang Hao shouted loudly, used the Xuanhuan seal, and smashed it at the second-level gibbon. At the same time, his muscles tightened and he exerted force suddenly, holding the Gale sword directly to its throat. The suppressive power of the Xuanhuan seal at the same level made it difficult to contend with, and there was no way to deal with Wang Hao's follow-up attack. However, it was a second-level monster. At the critical moment, it stretched out its long arms and tried to push Wang Hao away. The attack was neutralized, but Wang Hao had been practicing for many years and was not afraid to deal with it with little remaining strength. He slammed sideways and knocked its arm away, then found the right angle and aimed a sword at the throat of the second-order gibbon. The Gale sword scratched the skin of the second-level demon monkey, but unfortunately it was a first-level high-grade flying sword and could not penetrate deep. Suffering such a serious injury, the second-level gibbon screamed, finally showed a hint of fear, turned around and fled into the distance. "We can't let it escape." Seeing this scene, everyone's pupils changed and they couldn't help but want to catch up. "I'm going to chase you," stopped the other first-level gibbons. Wang Hao shouted. He was still confident in dealing with a second-level low-level gibbon that had been seriously injured. "Eighth uncle is here to help you." Wang Yanfeng walked away from the crowd at this time. He has now reached the 8th level of Qi training. He is not too old and has high combat power among the Wang family members. Chapter 51. Jumping off a cliff. Although the second-level gibbon was fast, after all, it was seriously injured and had been fighting for so long, so its speed gradually slowed down. Wang Hao and Wang Yanfeng chased for a quarter of an hour, using several magical weapons such as the Earth Hun seal and the Gale sword to harass them. However, the second-level monster had rough skin and thick flesh, so they could not give it a fatal blow, but it made it bleed more and more. Becoming weaker and weaker, after chasing for about 200 miles, the long-armed monkey once again had a few wounds on its body, but at this time it had left the range of Ruojuan Mountain and arrived at the Duanyuan Mountain range. It had a strong will to survive and knew that Wang Hao and other humans would not be able to survive. He dared to go deep into the Duanyuan Mountains, so he was still trying to escape. After chasing for several more hours, they had penetrated thousands of miles into the Duanyuan Mountains, and Wang Hao almost gave up. Wang Yanfeng said, "If this provocation is not eliminated, it will definitely become a disaster for our Wang family. The second-level monster has become intelligent and very vindictive." The Wang family took his territory and killed his tribe. After he recovered from his injuries, he was no longer a coward. However, the Wang family's talents are evil. If we don't kill him while he is injured, we may have to pay several times or even 10 times the price in the future. At this time, the long-armed monkey was almost out of fuel. Seeing Wang Hao and the others chasing after him, he let out a sad cry and stopped, as if he wanted to fight them desperately. However, Wang Hao and Wang Yanfeng did not fight him desperately. He knew very well that this was just a trapped beast still fighting. The two of them have a way of fighting. They will neither let him go nor be easily approached by him. For a while, the long-armed monkey could only be passively beaten. After fighting like this for another half-quarter of an hour, Wang Hao saw that the long-armed monkey's movements were getting slower and slower. Wang Hao thought that the time was coming, so he signaled to Wang Yanfeng to narrow the encirclement. When the long-armed monkey saw Wang Hao approaching, with hatred in its eyes, it stretched out its long arms to grab the branch and swung it straight towards Wang Hao. Just in time, Wang Hao's eyes flashed with a sharp look. He had been on guard against this move for a long time and was about to test his physical strength. He didn't dodge, he just activated two defensive talismans and collided with the long-armed monkey. Wang Hao took 2 steps back to stop, but the long-armed monkey was knocked out and lay on the ground. Several attempts to get up ended in failure. That's it. Wang Hao used the Gale sword to shoot the long-armed monkey directly in front of the door, but the long-armed monkey was struggling to get up at this time, and the Gale sword actually pierced his chest. Woo-woo! At this moment, the cry of an ape suddenly came from the distance. The gibbon monkey on the ground was shocked and responded loudly regardless of its injury. Even though Wang Hao and Wang Yanfeng killed him quickly, the gibbon monkey in the distance still discovered his trace. No, how come there are other long-armed monkeys supporting me? Wang Yanfeng asked. Wang Hao shook his head. How do I know? Could it be that there is a problem at Ruojuan Mountain? It shouldn't be. There are 4 foundation building monks there. He guessed correctly. The one he was chasing was the leader of the long-armed monkey. It turned out that after Wang Hao left, there was one less second-level Gibman, and the balance of victory fell to the Wang family. First, Wang Longyu killed the opposing second-level mid-level Gibman, and then successively helped Wang Yanzhao. Li Yaozu beheaded his opponent, but the long-armed monkey leader saw that the situation was not good, and abandoned his group and fled. The direction of his escape was exactly where Wang Hao and Wang Yanfeng were. It was not because of the two of them, but because this was the only way to go deep into Duanyuan Mountain. The leader of the long-armed monkey would not choose any other direction. Wang Yanfeng said, "We are no match for the second-order high-grade monsters. Let's hide for a while and wait for the family's support." Wang Hao nodded, and they chased all the way, losing most of their spiritual power. They would probably be torn apart by the leader of the long-armed monkeys if they met him. But no one knew what message the dead gibbon had left behind. The leader kept chasing the two of them, which made Wang Hao very depressed. Fortunately, the gibbon leader seemed to be injured and was not much faster than them, which allowed them to escape. It took a whole day for them to chase and flee. Wang Yanfeng felt that his legs were as heavy as lead. The two of them had enough elixirs and could maintain their spiritual power, but physical fatigue was inevitable. Wang Hao was better. He walked in front to open the way, always paying attention to the situation of the monsters shown on the map to avoid running into the monster's den, but the map showed a limited range, and his choice was not entirely correct. The road ahead became rugged and difficult to walk. After running for more than 10 miles, Wang Hao sadly found that there was no road ahead. "Uncle Ba, you are really unlucky." Wang Hao really wanted to get rid of Wang Yanfeng and act alone this time. The last time he went on an expedition with him, he encountered a casual cultivator who killed people and robbed treasures, and then encountered a second-level monster. His luck was too bad. Wang Yanfeng was also very depressed. Can this be blamed on me? Fortunately, the monster didn't catch up. Otherwise, we can only jump off the cliff. Roar! The monster's cry came again from the back. Wang Yanfeng's face suddenly became unnatural. Ahem, this can't be blamed on me. The question is what to do now. What to do? Haven't you thought about it? Wang Hao pointed to the cliff in front of him. Jump. I'm just talking, how can I really jump? Wang Yanfeng said awkwardly. I can't see the bottom at a glance, I'll be smashed into a pulp if I jump down. Wang Hao was thinking in his heart whether there is really a law of not dying after jumping off the cliff. Another reason that made him want to try it was that he just took a step forward, and because of this step, a house icon suddenly appeared on the map, which aroused Wang Hao's interest. Maybe there is really an opportunity waiting for him at the bottom of the valley. The monster approached, and the figure could be seen. It was the long-armed monkey leader, with blood all over his body, and no one knew who hurt it. No matter what, it went straight to Wang Hao and the other two, obviously holding a grudge against them. In their current state, they had no chance of winning. If you don't jump, you'll be eaten by the monster. I'd rather fall to death than be digested by the monster. Wang Hao turned and jumped off the cliff. Wang Yanfeng stamped his feet and jumped off immediately. During the descent, Wang Hao wanted to use the light body technique and traction technique to grab the cliff, but unfortunately the cliff was smooth, not to mention trees, not even a blade of grass, which made Wang Hao desperate. He had been in this world for 6 years, and now the skills and the golden silk spirit apricots for cultivation were ready. Was he going to die? At the moment of Wang Hao's despair, the spirit beast bag suddenly vibrated. It turned out that the golden-eyed duck felt Wang Hao's emotions and woke up. Wang Hao's face was happy, and he thought that it was not in vain to raise you. He couldn't fly, but the golden-eyed duck had wings. Although Yaya couldn't take Wang Hao to fly for a long time, it was not a big problem to land safely. As he said that, he released the golden-eyed duck. The golden-eyed duck quacked twice, and its body suddenly grew to a size of several feet. It flapped its wings violently, flew under Wang Hao, and caught Wang Hao. Chapter 52 Valley Bottom. Save me. Before Wang Hao could stand firm, he heard Wang Yanfeng's cry for help. Hey, I really owe you. But Wang Yanfeng still had to save him. Although he was not very capable and was extremely unlucky, Wang Yanfeng had bought his elixirs at a high price in the past few years, and he also took care of him on weekdays. This uncle was qualified. Wang Hao ordered the golden-eyed duck to save Wang Yanfeng. Yaya was quite reluctant but still executed Wang Hao's order. After Wang Yanfeng sat on the back of the golden-eyed duck, Wang Hao realized that he had misunderstood Yaya. It was not that it did not want to save him, but that it did not have the ability. It was difficult to carry one person, let alone two. Although it had tried its best to flap its wings, the two people and the duck were still falling. At this speed, Wang Hao and Wang Yanfeng might be seriously injured but not dead, but the golden-eyed duck would be miserable down there. The golden-eyed duck was trying to save himself, and Wang Hao definitely didn't want to see it die. He turned around and said to Wang Yanfeng, Uncle Ba, you are at least a late-stage qi training cultivator, don't you have any trump cards? I have been sitting in the market to make pills, and the next beast tide is still early. Why do you need a trump card? Isn't it a waste of spirit stones? Wang Yanfeng said this with confidence, and Wang Hao was so angry that he wanted to throw him down. Wang Hao remembered the scene of the plane's forced landing in his previous life, and his mind moved. He ordered the golden-eyed duck to spread its wings and glide forward along the canyon. The speed of descent was indeed much slower, and it was converted into the forward speed. Damn conservation of momentum. Wang Hao cursed directly. If it hit something, the two people and the beast would also die. Fortunately, although the golden-eyed duck couldn't carry the two people, it could still control the direction. It steadily avoided the cliff all the way and slid close to the ground along the canyon. Uncle Ba, jump down when you are 100 feet from the ground. Wang Hao said. The canyon was 1,000 feet deep. They had huge potential energy and could not stop the car at all. If they slid down like this, the ground was uneven and the golden-eyed duck had no wheels, so they would be ground into meat paste. They could only reduce the weight in advance and let the golden-eyed duck fly. For a cultivator in the late stage of qi training, a height of 100 feet was still dangerous, but not fatal. Wang Yanfeng also knew the severity. The golden-eyed duck saved his life. If he killed it, he would not be able to get over it. Okay, got it. I see there are trees at the bottom of the valley. I will jump on the tree when the time comes. The distance of 100 feet was reached in an instant. Wang Hao gave a look, and Wang Yanfeng understood. Seeing a tall tree, he suddenly jumped over with force. The golden-eyed duck staggered and stabilized its body again. however, the speed was too fast and it still couldn't fly, but this speed could also ensure that it would not die. Wang Hao didn't want to see the golden-eyed duck get hurt, so when he reached 30 feet, he jumped down with all his strength, propped up the protective shield, and crashed into a bush. Boom! Wang Hao directly broke the bull-thick tree, and the protective shield collapsed. Fortunately, there was soft ground below. Wang Hao was a little embarrassed, but he was not seriously injured. The golden-eyed duck was no longer carrying weight, and it flapped its wings and landed steadily. It quickly flew in front of Wang Hao and rubbed Wang Hao's arm affectionately. "Thanks to you this time." Wang Hao stroked the golden-eyed duck, took out a golden silk spirit apricot and said, "Eat it." "Yaya, you have to advance quickly, otherwise I can't get out of such a deep canyon." "Quack," the golden-eyed duck responded and swallowed the golden silk spirit apricot into its stomach. "By the way, go find Uncle Ba first, I hope he's okay." Wang Hao ordered the golden-eyed duck to find Wang Yanfeng, and he sat down to heal his wounds. After 2 previous battles and falling off a cliff, he had to heal his wounds quickly. Otherwise, even if he could recover from the disease, it would take a long time. After a while, the golden-eyed duck brought Wang Yanfeng back. Wang Yanfeng was not in good condition. He broke a leg and looked like he had internal injuries, but it was good to be able to save his life in this situation. Wang Yanfeng saw Wang Hao meditating and did not say much. He also sat aside and began to heal his wounds. The self-healing ability of the immortal cultivators was extremely strong. The 2 of them were not short of elixirs. As long as they were treated in time, they would not be disabled. Wang Hao did not put the golden-eyed duck into the spirit beast bag, but let it stand on a high place to be alert. In this way, the 2 of them meditated for 5 consecutive days before they finished their work. Most of Wang Hao's injuries were healed, and the remaining ones could only wait for the body to recover slowly. Wang Yanfeng was only injured when he fell to the bottom of the valley, and his injury was not more serious than Wang Hao's. Seeing Wang Hao stand up, he also stood up and said, "This canyon is so deep that it is difficult for your spirit beast to take people up. What should we do next? There must be a way to get to the mountain. Anyway, we have no shortage of elixirs. I still have a lot of spirit rice in my storage bag, enough for us to support for 1 or 2 years. We will slowly think of a way." Wang Hao has a farm in hand, so he is not panicking at all. He just stays here for a few years, and when the golden-eyed duck advances to the first level upper grade, he can naturally take them up. "That's the only way," Wang Yanfeng sighed. "I'll go around and explore the road first, maybe there are other exits." "Don't rush. When I came down, I saw that there seemed to be a building in front, maybe it was left by some predecessor in the past. Let's go and have a look first." Wang Hao found that the building on the map was not far from him, and suggested. The building sign was under Wang Hao's feet when he was above the canyon, but the golden-eyed duck glided all the way and moved away a lot. He didn't see the ground at that time, and the map along the way could not be unlocked. Now it only shows 2 points, the building and the place where the 2 were. Section 29. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why is it you? Yes, it's me. Oh, no wonder, it's you. Li Durong squeezed out a few words with her teeth clenched. After the first 2 contacts, she thought that the other party had become better, but she didn't expect that it was simply hard to change his nature. Thinking of her niece's clothes being burned by the other party during the fight in Wangjiling, and later finding out about his reputation in the market, Li Durong couldn't help but suspect that he took the opportunity to do something while healing her. When Wang Hao heard her tone was wrong, he frowned slightly and hurriedly explained, "Fairy Li, did you misunderstand something? At that time, I was just healing your wounds, not." Li Durong didn't listen to his explanation, and said angrily, "You know what kind of person you are. You saved me twice, and I, Li Durong, am not a person who repays kindness with enmity. I will let you go for now. If I meet you again in the future, I will definitely ask for a few tricks." Wang Hao was speechless. He thought to himself that he didn't think Li Durong was such an unreasonable person before. How could he become like this? Little did he know that he had touched the opponent's reverse scale. If he hadn't been so servile as to help others bandage it, his attitude would have definitely changed 180 degrees at this moment. You disappeared for 2 years and have been here all the time. Li Durong didn't want to talk to Wang Hao, but he still had to figure out the situation here. Wang Hao nodded and said, "Well, I have been trapped here since 2 years ago." "On the contrary, fellow Taoist Li, how did you end up here?" "I have my own reasons, you don't need to know." "Well, there is no way to talk about this." Originally, he wanted to tell the other party about the Ningyuan fruit, and bring along Li Durong, who is extremely powerful in the 9th level of Qi training. The 3 of them should have a great hope of defeating the monster in the Jade Pond. Even if they can't kill it, they can steal the Ningyuan fruit. Unfortunately, the other party is angry. If he tells the other party now, not only will he not cooperate, but it may also cause other waves. Wang Hao must get the seeds of the Ningyuan fruit and can't take such a risk. Let's not talk about it for now. Fellow Taoist Li looks seriously injured. Let's go and heal first. Wang Hao said indifferently. The other party had a cold face. He was not a dog. They just lived their own lives. When Wang Yanfeng came out of retreat, it should be much better to talk to her. Li Durong wanted to find out the situation here before retreating to heal, but she felt disgusted when she thought that her body had been touched. With Wang Hao's attitude, how could she be willing to talk to the other party? He said bitterly, "Don't bother with fellow Taoist concern," and then went back to the wooden house and slammed the door to vent. "That's my room." Wang Hao murmured, "What's the matter? Do cultivators also like to make trouble for no reason?" Forget it, let's build another house later." Wang Hao shook his head helplessly. Wang Hao rebuilt a wooden house and began to retreat again. It would take several years for the Ningyuan fruit to mature. The canyon map had been entered, and there was no way out. Naturally, he was not afraid of Li Durong leaving. He left it alone for a while and waited for her to calm down. Although she was in seclusion, she only had one wooden house and no soundproofing formation, so she could sense the other party's movements. In the next few months, Wang Hao found that Li Durong would go out from time to time, sometimes coming back after 3 or 2 days, and sometimes for half a month. She was unwilling to be trapped here and went to find a way out. The last time, Li Durong went out for a month and hadn't come back yet. Oh no, this woman didn't go to Jade Lake. Wang Hao stood up suddenly, and the 2 of them also went to the other side of the canyon to see that they had only walked a few thousand miles and then there was no way out. Li Durong hadn't returned for a month, so she could only go to the direction of Jade Lake. "She's really good at finding trouble," Wang Hao sighed helplessly. "We must go find her. If something happens to her, it will be difficult for my uncle and I to take down the fish monster." Wang Hao went out and saw that Wang Yanfeng was still in seclusion. He thought he was going to break through the 9th level of Qi training before coming out, so he didn't disturb him. He called the golden-eyed duck, and the man and the duck went to Jade Lake. Although the golden-eyed duck could not take him across the 1,000-foot-high canyon, it could still do a frog leap flight in a short period of time. Wang Hao rode the golden-eyed duck for a while, then put it into the spirit beast bag and walked with it for a while. The man and the beast took turns to rest, which was much faster than simply walking on foot. Li Durong was not familiar with the terrain, and she was not as fast as Wang Hao in traveling. Wang Hao calculated that he should be able to catch up with her in half a month. 500 miles away from the Jade Pool, Wang Hao's hurried steps suddenly stopped, and then he hurriedly called the golden-eyed duck to take him for a ride, because he found through the map that the boss of the Jade Pool had moved, and it was obvious who did it. "Li Durong, you must not overestimate your ability." Wang Hao certainly knew that some powerful Qi training monks could cross levels to kill monsters, and Li Durong was very powerful, but the problem was that the fish monster was 2 levels higher than her. A monk from a small family crossed 2 levels to kill the enemy? Don't be funny. On the other side, Li Durong was fighting with the fish monster. Her clothes were messy, and blood was faintly visible. There was blood flowing from the corners of her mouth. It was obvious that she had suffered a great loss. She had finished healing a few days ago, and when she went out, she found that Wang Hao was in seclusion, so she explored the way out by herself. She had no gains in the previous few times, but she also knew that the canyon was safe, and the other end of the canyon would soon reach the end. After being fully prepared, she walked towards this side. She had been moving forward for more than a month, and she could not see the end. She was about to give up. When she thought about asking Wang Hao after returning, she insisted on seeing his face. Today, she finally came to this pool, and was even more surprised when she found the Xianxia fruit. She walked through the water without thinking, but she didn't know that her movements had already alarmed the second-level fish monster. The fish monster attacked her and seriously injured her. If it weren't for the second-level amulet given by the family, it would have killed her. Now, let alone picking the Xianxia fruit, it would have become a luxury to escape from this pool. Wang Hao was driving at full speed in the golden-eyed duck. He could vaguely hear the sound of fighting. It looks like he's not dead yet. He's really awesome. People have their arrogance. Wang Hao also wanted to have a handsome man fall from the sky and be a hero to save the beauty. Unfortunately, he was in a very embarrassed state due to the dusty weather he was traveling on, and the golden-eyed duck could not fly too high with people. I even wanted to see what it would be like if Li Durong begged him to take action, but when they met, Wang Hao couldn't care less about his personal grudges when he saw that Li Durong's red cassock was dazzling with blood. Luck shouted loudly, "You are a bold monster, you dare to hurt people in front of me, watch your moves." That he was very impressive and spread a bunch of talismans for free, which really attracted the fish monster's attention. However, for a second-level mid-level monster, the first-level talismans would be a scratch if they hit him. It's so itchy that it can't even break through the skin of a fish, so there's no need to hide. Boom. An explosion sounded, sending up bursts of water mist. Li Durong was not stupid either. Seeing that Wang Hao had successfully attracted the fish demon, he rushed out with all his strength and tried his best to escape. When the water mist dissipated, the fish demon realized that it had been deceived. Wang Hao just stood far away and did not come over at all. However, the other prey was trying to escape. He suddenly became furious, roared, and spit out a huge water ball to attack Li Durong. If this was photographed, Li Durong would be crippled even if he died. Chapter 56. I have to call you aunt. I really owe you. Wang Hao used his would escape technique, threw a bunch of talismans in front of him, jumped up to pick up Li Durong, and turned around to protect her. The huge force hit Wang Hao and he was almost knocked unconscious. He spit out a mouthful of blood, did not dare to look back, and escaped underground with Li Durong. A water monster like the fish monster cannot leave the water for a long time before it transforms. It can do nothing but roar as it watches the two people escape underground. The magical powers it awakens are all water attacks, so how can it do anything to the king who escapes underground? How? Wang Hao used the earth escape technique to run 100 miles before he dared to show his head. After escaping from the ground, he glanced at Li Durong and found that she had fainted, but her aura was still there and she was obviously still alive. Oh, what a woman who gets hurt easily. It was too dangerous here. Wang Hao didn't dare to stay any longer, so he gave Li Durong a few pills, took a few himself, picked her up, and started to hurry on his way again. The next day, Li Durong woke up and saw that he was being carried by Wang Hao, with their bodies close to each other. He was immediately embarrassed and wanted to struggle. Let me down. Woman, don't challenge my patience. If you want to die, I can help you. Wang Hao was also furious. He saved her twice. What kind of attitude was this? He suddenly knocked Li Durong upside down and stabilized his back again. Li Durong was seriously injured and had no strength at all. How could she be Wang Hao's opponent? Moreover, she was not the kind of woman who was unreasonable. When she saw Wang Hao sacrificing herself to block a blow for her, she remembered that the two of them were underground. The situation during the battle with the second-order giant python in the cave didn't touch my heart. It was a lie, so I calmed down. In fact, she had already figured it out. Wang Hao was just trying to bandage her wounds that day. Even if he saw something, it was because of the situation. She resented it and became a little unreasonable, so she thought of finding an exit to ask Wang Hao. Hao apologized, who knew he would be saved by the other party again. The two of them were silent all the way, and they stopped after traveling thousands of miles. Wang Hao found a spacious place and put Li Durong down safely. When he got up, his eyes went dark and he collapsed to the ground. Fuck, an immortal cultivator, can actually suffer from hypoglycemia. Wang Hao then remembered that he had been on the road for 3 days in a row without eating a bite. Are you okay? Li Durong asked with concern when he saw Wang Hao fainted. He's not dead yet, what about you? But he thought to himself, this woman finally talks a little more normally. It seems that saving her again will be effective. It's just mana depletion and some skin injuries, nothing like that. Li Durong shook his head indifferently. Oh, stop pretending. I was hit by the fish demon and suffered internal injuries. You fought with it for so long and you still have external injuries. Wang Hao shook his head. This woman was too arrogant. Li Durong gave him a fierce look. She was not an unkind person, but she still couldn't stand Wang Hao's playful smile. But now that the two of them were in the same place, it was hard to hide it. There are indeed some internal injuries, I'm afraid it will take 1 or 2 years to recover. Then he asked, you have been trapped here for 2 years, have you ever found any other way out? If there is a way out, I will stay here for 2 more years. Wang Hao said angrily, but seeing Li Durong's face about to get angry, he still said, when you recover from your injuries, you may have a chance. That with Li Durong, a 9-level Qi practitioner with extremely high combat power, the 3 of them should have high hopes of defeating the monster in Jade Pool. Even if they can't kill it, they can still do it by stealing the Ning Yuan fruit. You also saw that place. There are condensing Yuan fruits. As long as the 3 of us work together, we can steal a few. By then, as long as one of us builds the foundation, we can leave this place. Don't we have to wait for several years? Li Durong's expression changed slightly, and she also noticed that the Ning Yuan fruit was not yet mature. What else? It's useless to pick it now. Wang Hao spread his hands helplessly. When you recover from your injuries, my 8th uncle should be able to practice the 9th level of Qi. The 2 of you work together to hold the fish demon for a while. I go steal the Ning Yuan fruit. By the way, you didn't tell me how you came here when I asked you last time. Can you tell me this time? Wang Hao smiled self-deprecatingly. I had a bad reputation in the past, but I haven't allowed anyone to change it, right? Just ask Fairy Li, did I take advantage of you when you were in danger twice? We are in trouble now, so we must trust each other. Li Durong's face was slightly red. Wang Hao was indeed well behaved. As for physical contact, there was nothing he could do about it. So he also told Wang Hao what happened to him. There was nothing new. He was just looking for elixirs, separated from his tribe, and fighting monsters. When he accidentally fell off a cliff, she also told some news about Wang Hao. The Wang family had mobilized many people to look for Wang Hao's uncle and nephew in the past 2 years. Wang Yanzhao even went deep into the Duanyuan mountains several times, and once came back seriously injured. He was really a good father. Actually, I have something to deal with the second-order fish monster. This time I have to deal with the monster when I enter the mountain, so I prepared a 3-talented monster trapping array, which should be able to trap the beast for a while. She said with a dark expression, it's a pity that it was then. He only paid attention to the Ning Yuan fruit before he was attacked and seriously injured. The second-level low-level formation, with the combined strength of the 3 of us, shouldn't be a big problem. Seeing that there was hope for escape, Wang Hao solemnly said, you recover from your injuries first. My 8th uncle is also in retreat. Let's wait for him for a while. The atmosphere here is abundant, but it doesn't delay your cultivation. 3 days later, Wang Hao's body had fully recovered. He had some internal injuries and could only recover slowly. He looked up and found Li Durong sitting cross-legged by the stream. She was still wearing a torn robe. She didn't think she had a new one, but some of the holes were damaged. She sewed, but the lower part was shortened, and a small section of her calf like a lotus root was exposed. The water surface was sparkling, and it couldn't be seen clearly for a moment. I just felt that the skin on her calf was more dazzling than the water surface. Seeing her gentle and peaceful look now, for a moment he was afraid of alarming her. Shaking his head to dispel some thoughts, he coughed guiltily and said, "Let's go back and meet Uncle 8 first. The alchemy furnace is over there. It's not convenient to stay here for a long time." Dudley Durong hesitated a little and said softly, "Why don't you go back first? I still need to heal for a while. Without the help of the elixir, will you be able to cultivate yourself until the age of the monkey?" Wang Hao suddenly came back to his senses and couldn't help but glance at Li Durong's calf again, with a playful look on his face. "But is it still possible?" "I'll carry you." Li Durong was stunned by his burning eyes. You can leave first, I don't want it." He stretched out his hand and tugged the short skirt to cover his calves. "What are you afraid of? It's not like I haven't carried it before." "Not only did I carry it, I also hugged it." Li Durong's face turned cold. "If you continue to speak so openly, I will fight with you even if I don't fight for my life." Okay, it's my fault, but you also know that I don't mean any harm. Although there are no monsters here, there are a lot of poisons. With your current state, how can I safely leave you here alone?" Wang Hao calmed down his expression and said solemnly, "We cultivators, the Great Road is supreme, don't care about these small details. It's good that we have no guilt in our hearts, and no one here will see it. Besides, if we really talk about it, there is a generation gap between us. I have to call you Aunt." Chapter 57 Stealing Spirit Fruit. That's what it is said, but they are not from the same family, and the seniority is not so strict. The Li family's virtuous generation and the Wang family's literate generation are considered to be of the same generation. For example, if the Wang and Li families marry, they will not be strictly based on seniority. After all, the immortal cultivator's lifespan is relatively long, and it is very common to have children over 100 years old during the foundation period, so the seniority will naturally be messed up. Therefore, between the two clans, only age and cultivation are considered. Unless they are directly elders, they will follow the etiquette of juniors. "Okay, stop talking," Li Durong frowned, feeling that the more Wang Hao talked about the relationship, the more chaotic it became. If she continued to remain reserved, it would appear that she was guilty and pretentious. The two set off again, talking to each other all the way, and their relationship became much more relaxed. "Fairy Li, if you swallow the Ning Yuan fruit directly, what are your chances of building a foundation?" Wang Hao feels that the effect of swallowing the Ning Yuan fruit is too poor. Lao Wang has not given him the pulse protection pill yet, so it will be very dangerous. The gain outweighs the loss. About 70% sure. Li Durong fell silent when he thought of the important matter of foundation building. Actually, there is no need to rush to swallow it. I have a golden-eyed duck spirit beast. It will be advanced in a while. Then I can fly across the valley. Wang Hao said with a serious expression. Li Durong frowned. How can it be so easy to advance a spiritual beast? It took 200 years for the black-feathered eagle tamed by my Li family to reach the second level. Section 30. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Hao thought to himself, that's because you don't want to feed them. If I feed them a few hundred spirit stones a month, even stones can transform. These are all things to consider later. Fairy Li should recover first. It took them more than 10 days to return to the wooden house. Wang Hao continuously refined some healing pills and fasting pills and gave them to Li Durong, saying, "Fairy Li, these pills should be enough for you for a year." Li Durong put away the jade bottle and said lightly, "Thank you, I will settle with you with spirit stones after I go out." Wang Hao smiled and declined, "You're polite. This is a spirit medicine collected in the valley. It's not worth much. Besides, we need to work together to get the Ningyuan fruit. How can we calculate it like this?" Li Durong didn't say much. Hearing this, he took the pill and began to recover behind closed doors. Wang Hao also took the time to improve his cultivation. About half a year later, there was a wave of spiritual power, followed by Wang Yanfeng's loud laughter. 9th level of Qi training, haha. He is only 42 years old this year, and there are still 18 years before he turns 60, so he may be able to build a foundation. Wang Hao did not go out to congratulate him, because he was also close and needed to hurry up to practice. A sound transmission note had been left for Wang Yanfeng outside, so he didn't have to go out to say it. Another half a year later, Li Durong finished recuperating and came out of retreat. While Wang Hao was still in retreat, Li Durong calculated the day when the Ningyuan fruit would mature, so he didn't disturb Wang Hao. 3 months later, Wang Hao finished practicing, and a gleam of light appeared in his eyes. I have also reached the 9th level of Qi training. Fellow Taoist Wang is really a hidden talent. 5 spiritual roots have reached the 9th level of Qi training at such a young age. Li Durong's compliment came, and Wang Hao hurriedly opened the door. Fairy Li, you are joking. I have all these pills, which are not as pure as your mana. Wang Hao is only 31 years old now, and he has reached the 9th level of Qi refining much faster than he expected. This is not only due to the dual attribute skills, but also the multiple bonuses of the spirit gathering array, the spirit pill, the spirit fruit, and the ice skin and jade bone skill. Now our strength has improved a lot, and the Ningyuan fruit is about to mature. It's time to prepare for action. Wang Yanfeng was also very happy and asked with a smile, how is your spirit beast? The golden-eyed duck began to sleep a month ago and has begun to advance. The golden-eyed duck has been raised by Wang Hao for more than 10 years. It has good food and drink every day. This speed is already very slow. Wang Hao guessed that it has something to do with its bloodline. Maybe the upper limit of the golden-eyed duck is only the 2nd level spirit beast. The ice-eyed white tiger, which is a few years later than it, has already grown to the 1st level upper grade, and the illusion moon butterfly is faster. As long as Wang Hao's spirit fruit continues, they are simply a feces-making machine. It has only been 3 or 4 years, and it has begun to sleep for the 2nd time, and the realm exceeds the golden-eyed duck. Wang Yanfeng pondered, in this case, should we wait for the golden-eyed duck to advance? Li Durong did not agree. Friend Wang, there are only 3 condensation fruits, and the next fruit will be 50 years later. Are you sure you want to miss this opportunity? Although she is the pride of the Li family, the next foundation building pill is designated for her, but she still has to wait for more than 10 years, right? One day earlier to build the foundation, there is a little more hope of forming the pill. Any cultivator with a little pursuit will not miss such an opportunity. Hee, Wang Yanfeng laughed twice. Yes, how can I let it go? I, Wang, also have a great mind. Since everyone has no objection, let's go. The 3 of them packed up and started to head towards the jade pool. In the deep and quiet valley, Wang Hao and the other 2 were standing on a towering ancient tree, looking at a pool of mist 1,000 meters away in front of them with a sharp gaze. To be precise, it was the condensation fruit tree in the center of the pool. Without blinking, Wang Yanfeng swallowed his saliva, his eyes full of greed. Fairy Li, Wen Hao, what do you think we should do? Wang Hao thought for a while and said, although we have a formation, it is obviously a bad idea to fight hard. My opinion is that you 2 hold the fish monster back, and I sneak in quietly and steal 3 fruits. As for the fruit tree, we can let the family's foundation building come to transplant it. As for how to divide it, of course, the 3 people will have 1 fruit each. As for the fruit tree, it must have belonged to the Wang family before, but now Li Durong is the main force and has provided the formation. The Li family is definitely unwilling to give it up. As for how to argue, even if it is the business of the current family head, it has nothing to do with the 3 of them. To be honest, before there is enough strength, whoever holds the Ningyuan fruit tree will be a hot potato. Once the news is leaked, there is a risk of extinction. Therefore, the 3 agreed to keep it a secret and only inform the heads of both families. Li Durong nodded, okay, I'll set up the formation, and then looked at Wang Yanfeng, please, fellow Taoist Wang, go and lure out the fish monster. I'll go. Wang Yanfeng pointed to his nose, this. Uncle 8, only you go, I have to hide first. Do you want us to switch? You go and steal the spiritual fruit. Wang Yanfeng shook his head fiercely, forget it, it's better for you to steal the spiritual fruit. Compared with luring the monster, diving into the center of the pool is undoubtedly more dangerous, and Wang Yanfeng asked himself if he had the strength to do so. The 3 of them prepared, first set up the array I of the 5 elements reversal formation, and then restored the spiritual energy to full before starting to act. Before the action, Li Durong took out a piece of incense and told Wang Hao that lighting it could conceal the mana fluctuations on his body. As long as the fish monster couldn't see him, it couldn't be detected through the divine sense. Wang Hao had also practiced the hidden spirit technique. With the 2 lights, not only was the mana fluctuations emanating from his body covered up, but even his body was hidden at the level of divine sense sensing. Quietly, Wang Hao, who had made all preparations, slowly approached the jade pool, 5 miles, 2 miles, 500 meters. After entering the 500-meter range, Wang Hao deliberately stopped for a moment. According to the range of the fish demon's second-level mid-level spiritual consciousness, his spiritual consciousness could already detect Wang Hao at ordinary times. However, when he looked around, the water surface was still calm and there was nothing abnormal. Wang Hao felt relieved and continued to advance slowly with the help of the bushes beside the pool, until he reached the back of the pool, less than 20 meters away from the waterline. He hid motionless. Chapter 58 Obtaining the Ningyuan fruit. When Wang Yanzhao saw Wang Hao in place, he immediately acted according to the prearranged plan and cast a spell directly on the water pool. The water pool exploded and soon calmed down, but suddenly it surged violently like boiling water, and a shark-sized fish emerged from it. The big-headed fish demon saw that there was only a human in the chi refining stage in front of him, so he opened his mouth wide enough to swallow the human and let out a roar full of anger. The fish demon launched attacks one after another, but fortunately Wang Yanfeng had already escaped in advance and missed. The fish demon was very cautious. After waiting for a while and seeing no other movement, he chased Wang Yanfeng along the creek. Wang Yanfeng scattered magic charms from time to time to deliberately anger the fish demon. When Wang Hao saw the fish demon leaving, he quietly dived into the water, trying to make as little noise as possible, and slowly approached the small island in the center of the pool. Wang Hao stopped when he was still 10 meters away from the Ningyuan fruit tree, because this distance is enough for him to pick the Xuanhuan fruit. Wang Hao took out the Gale sword, chopped down the 3 Xuanhuan fruits with a swish, and then used the traction technique to pull them into his storage bag. I saw the seeds in the farm light up, and then swam to the shore without looking back. During this time, several first-order monsters in the lake discovered Wang Hao, but Wang Hao was extremely fast, and they had already landed on the shore before they could catch up with Wang Hao. After leaving the water, Wang Hao was not afraid of several first-order fish demons at all, and almost killed them head-on with one sword. Wang Hao was not willing to fight. He defeated several chasing monsters, gave the 2 people a signal to evacuate, and fled without even collecting the corpses of the monsters. On the other side, after Wang Yanfeng introduced the fish demon into the formation, the 2 of them frantically replenished the formation with spiritual power in order to trap the fish demon for a few more moments, and by time for Wang Hao's side went extremely smoothly. Naturally, the 2 of them would not get entangled with the fish demon. They simply abandoned their formation and hurriedly evacuated after only collecting the formation disc. Without the control of the 2 people, the formation was broken by the fish demon in a moment, but at this time the 3 people had already escaped to 100 miles away, and the fish demon couldn't leave the water, so it looked at the stolen Xuanhuan fruit by the pool, and said it screamed unwillingly for a while, and finally sank to the bottom of the water and fell asleep. The second-level monster has a long lifespan, only 50 years, so it can still wait. It's really dangerous. Fortunately, Fairy Li's hidden spirit incense has a remarkable effect, otherwise I would never have been able to get close to the condensing yuan fruit so easily. Wang Hao wiped his sweat happily and gave them the fruit in his hand. Wang Yanfeng held the Ning Yuan fruit carefully. With his qualifications, he could not get priority for the family's foundation building pill. Now that the opportunity to build the foundation was in front of him, he couldn't wait to swallow it and refine it immediately. Li Durong was much calmer. He glanced at Wang Hao and asked, "Are you planning to build a foundation in this valley?" Wang Hao smiled bitterly. "I'll forget it, the 5 spiritual roots are incomparable to you. I'm afraid of dying if I take the Yuan Ningguo rashly, so I'd better take it back and refine it into a foundation establishment pill." "Can you refine the foundation building pill?" Li Durong asked in surprise. Wang Hao shook his head. of course I can't, but Lao Wang is now a second-level mid-level alchemist. If you give him a few years, maybe he can. Wang Yanfeng also came to his senses at this time. The chance of him directly swallowing the Ning Yuan fruit to build a foundation with his 3 spiritual roots was not very high, so he said, as far as I know, the old family leader is a second-level high-grade alchemist. Maybe we can ask him to open it. Furnace alchemy. But this matter must be kept strictly confidential, Fairy Li. Except for the head of the family, I don't know how to say a word to anyone else. He said and returned the Ning Yuan fruit in his hand to Wang Hao. My Li family has other auxiliary medicines. I only need 2 foundation establishment pills, is that okay? This. Wang Hao hesitated for a moment and then pushed the Ning Yuan guo back. I will try my best to facilitate this matter, but the decision still depends on the head of the family. Fairy Li might as well go back and invite the head of the Li family to discuss it. Li Durong said, that's not necessary. This place is the closest to your Wang family's Ruojuan mountain. After we get out, I will go with you and ask Senior Wang what he wants first. But how are we going to get out? Are we waiting for the golden-eyed duck? Wang Hao smiled when he heard this, patted the spirit beast bag and released Yaya. I noticed something strange about the golden-eyed duck just when I was at the pool. After checking, it turned out that the advancement has been completed. The two were overjoyed when they heard this. After staying at the bottom of the valley for several years, they were finally able to get out. In fact, the golden-eyed duck had woken up a long time ago, but Wang Hao wanted to get the seeds of the Ning Yuan fruit tree, so he didn't tell the two of them. After Yaya advanced to the first-level high-grade spiritual beast, her size increased greatly, and now she could drive 2 people to fly. Wang Hao sent Wang Yanzhao and Li Durong out in batches, and was thinking of returning to Ruojuan Mountain quickly, when 2 figures suddenly appeared in front of them. These 2 people blocked the path of Wang Hao and the others. Wang Hao wanted to laugh at them and seek death, but when he noticed the aura of the people coming, he suddenly felt that something was wrong. These 2 people were actually foundation-building monks. A monk in black spit out the weeds in his mouth and said with a smile, "Hey, brother, we are very lucky today, the fat sheep have been delivered to our door." Looking at the clothes, they belong to the Li family and Wang family of Qingniafang. The children of the family are generally relatively wealthy. You and I are really lucky. Another monk in gray clothes also stared at the 3 of them with burning eyes. How dare you touch anyone from our Wang family? Wang Yanfeng could not help but scold. Ha ha ha. The 2 foundation-building cultivators looked at each other and said, a mere foundation-building family, what a great prestige. Young man, even if your ancestor is here, I will also give him a hard time. Wang Yanfeng was still talking nonsense with the other party, and Wang Hao hurriedly sent a message to Li Durong. Fairy Li, if you lead away a foundation-building cultivator, are you sure you can get away? As the foundation-building seed of the Li family, Li Durong naturally has a trump card, so he replied, if there is one, of course there is no problem. Well, we will flee separately later. You go to deal with the gray-clothed foundation-building cultivator, and I will deal with the black-clothed foundation-building cultivator. My 8th uncle is not good at fighting, and staying here will only make things worse. Let him ride my spirit beast to Ruojuan Mountain to report the news. No problem, see you at Ruojuan Mountain. As soon as the voice fell, Li Durong directly controlled the yellow long silk to attack the gray-clothed foundation-building cultivator, which made Wang Hao stunned. Damn, why are you in such a hurry? He quickly sent a message to Wang Yanfeng to let him ride Yaya and leave quickly, while Wang Hao took out the earthly seal and attacked the black-clothed foundation building. The gray-clothed foundation building quickly parried. Heh, these 2 juniors are really anxious. In this case, I will send you to the west. The black-clothed foundation building's eyes lit up when he saw the earthly seal Wang Hao took out. Second-level magic weapon, it's really a big fat sheep, boss, don't kill that girl, brothers haven't had meat for several months. The gray-clothed foundation building responded, I know, and looked sideways. Wang Yanfeng was about to release the golden-eyed duck to escape, and quickly stopped him. Where are you going? This distraction, Li Durong's fierce attack actually hit the big man's back, leaving a glaring wound. The gray-clothed foundation building staggered, and the spell he sent out was off-center. Wang Yanfeng took the opportunity to distance himself and escape. Gray-clothed foundation building warrior was furious. "Heh, youngster, you are courting death." Wang Hao also fought and retreated. As long as they went in 3 directions, the enemy could only chase 2 of them, and Wang Yanfeng, who had not revealed his wealth, would be relatively safe. "Brother, let's deal with these 2 first, and then chase that one. It's just a first-level spirit beast and can't fly too fast." "Okay, quick battle and quick decision." Wang Hao fought and fled all the way, feeling very depressed. He just got the Ningyuan fruit and was not happy for a moment. He met the robbers. Who can he reason with? He has survived all the way here and asked himself that he had never offended anyone. He even laughed off the unfriendly attitude of some members of the Wang family. Why is this? This thief god just won't let people rest. Chapter 59 Encountered robbers again.